And V is muted. You're good.
Check the mute button in OBS. Oh, they can hear somebody, but it's not you.
You are audible to us. Okay. Oh dear.
Yeah, what if we all sounded off one by one?
Testing 1 2 1.
I exist.
I too exist as far as I know.
I am here.
Did you check the input settings for OBS to make sure it's not mucking up all of us hybrid mixing with you? I don't know how your mixer's set up. But yet they can't hear your response.
That could end up being a very rude game because I don't know very much. I know a few words and I also know how to say tomato, but that's about it. I know a few words and I also know how to say tomato.
Is everyone else here? There's echo.
Ah!
Oh my god.
Sorry, that was me.
Recursion.
I brought up the stream on my other screen and thought I had muted it. I apparently did not click the mute button as thoroughly as I hoped.
I'm like, wow, that person had a really high voice. Oh wait, that was me.
It is awkward hearing yourself. Yeah.
I tried to leave back when we had answering machines. Yeah. Wow.
So the fun behind the scenes fact that when you're talking about like hearing yourself, this is actually a monitor set of headphones, so I hear myself talking in real time as I'm also talking to all of you. So I'm always hearing myself talk. It's terrible.
How are you still saying?
I don't know how you do it.
Is it at least with like a very minimal delay? So it
Oh yeah, it's instantaneous. So it's not like you're not getting that double step over effect where you've got to deal with the, oh crap, I'm a half a second behind myself, but
Right.
it's still hearing yourself talk as you're talking. So it's just a little bit off-putting.
Huh.
It's fun.
No, I'm well aware that I sound like Minnie Mouse when I'm recorded, so.
Testing, testing.
I don't think you sound that way to the rest of us.
Can you guys in the chat hear me? And can you guys in the game hear me?
We game
We
people
can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, chat said yeah. Wait.
Oh, we can
Yes.
actually hear me. Yay!
Woo! Now we just need your video. Hey,
Ta-da!
there we go.
Yay.
There we go. So we'll just call that a demonstration of how you play Myst by hitting lots of buttons and seeing what happens.
Did you check the door again?
Exactly. Look behind the door.
Move the slider.
Yeah.
Is that the good ending? Did we get the good ending?
Yeah. Quick,
Landris is still here. You didn't get the good ending yet.
yes.
Wow.
But a quick anecdote. I actually got to run Unwritten for Rand Miller at Geek Girl Con a couple years ago. And I gave him a device that he was looking at. He was trying to figure out, and I got to look at him square in the eye and say, "Try adjusting the slider." So, yeah, he gave me quite a look. So, anyways, Shara, welcome to the stream. This is session 3. And I apologize for all the issues. I do want to remind you, though, if you do like what we do, despite the fact that I don't know how to use soundboards, that you can look at support us on Patreon, and the link is at the bottom of the screen below. Also, you can find go to our you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Facebook. We have a Discord if you want to chat gaming there. Also want to put in a plug for the Cyan chat Discord, the official Discord for Cyan. And of course, you can find Unwritten on the Cyan store with all kinds of other swag. Myst swag and Cyan swag, a few of our supplements, which are very kind of small, but they're really awesome. And hopefully there'll be more soon. Also want to put a shout out to those people who have the Oculus Quest, that Myst VR is available, and you should go buy it and buy all other Cyan games many times so that they have money to make more cool stuff. Okay. Also, I want to point out once again that Mashavan's background is art done by his wife, by Pharaoh's wife, and she's had a couple of interesting releases recently. So I was hoping that Pharaoh, you could kind of give us an update on that.
Sure. So my wife has written not one but 2 children's books now. One of them is officially released. It is called June Memories, and is the story of how an anthropomorphic dog handles the loss of her best friend dragon. You can find it on my wife's Etsy store, Ellipsis Dreams, and it's very cute. And as was mentioned in the chat, I have a different background. This is some of her art, and she illustrated the entire book as well. So go check it out if you can. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, she's doing lots of cool stuff lately, so make sure we get the word out about that. Everybody go take a look at that, and buy a copy for your local library, get it spread out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, hi. So, Alana, Tome there, you said you would give us a quick recap of where we were.
Sure, I'll do my best.
Sure.
I think we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. Last session, we were back and forth a few times between Unai and our base of operations in Denis. and we managed to uncover in the caverns and tunnels under Unai a sort of message recording device and a linking book. We also came to the conclusion that this was an unofficial Denis mining operation that had been happening on this age. And our suspicions were raised when we found out that this was actually not even one of the ages we were supposed to be investigating in the first place. And so we're not sure where we got this linking book from or the other few that came with it. We thought they came from the Guild of Maintainers, I think, and our contact there, Talon, is now pretty upset with us. But we've managed to mostly keep it a secret. We're kind of covering our own butts a little bit, but also interested in maybe seeing where this rabbit hole goes. So Talon came along and confiscated this book from us, but the book to Unai, but not before we managed to create a copy of it, thanks to some last minute scrambling and some good writing on Landers's part, some good diversions on Mashavan's part. The rest of us just kind of being sneaky and hiding things. So I think as things stand now, we still don't have the ages we're actually supposed to be exploring. It's kind of late at night. I think we still have we have the copy of the book to Unai. We have this new book that we found on Unai, which may be a place called Kellen, I think. And we have this messaging device, which has a handprint that can act sort of a handprint sensor that can activate it. And for some reason, it responded to my character, Tome's handprint, and referred to there being a workforce in this age of Kennelin, I think.
Kenlin, yeah.
Kenlin.
Okey-doke.
So I think that's where we are.
Mhm.
Okie doke. That is where we are, and we can start there. Or we can, if people want to have had like a night to go home and rest and come back, or if we can start there right away. Which do you prefer?
Well, I think Kinlan was supposed to meet us like right away in the morning, right? We were not supposed to leave.
yeah.
I remember
Talon.
that.
Yeah.
Talon was-
Yeah, Talon
so
was
we meant
definitely-
to leave.
Okay, so
We're
we'll
like-
start at that night then.
Yeah, because we were not supposed to leave. Our
So
plan was to
what
explore as much
are
as we
you
could, and
doing?
then-
Fee, is there anything that we failed to note down from that recording that we listened to that you want to remind us of? Any important details there?
No, that seems to be the basics of it there. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So yeah. So you've got your link the book to Kennelin, which was with the message device which you brought back. You've got some other books there. You've and you've got an order not to go anywhere until Talon gets back tomorrow,
Which we've
or
already
in a few
violated.
days maybe. I don't know.
Okay. So I think I would like to figure out how this handprint lock thing works. I feel like it would be a great addition to our security here at our home base.
Okie doke. Yeah, let's go ahead and give me an engineering roll, and this one's going to be a tough one because it's unique technology, so it's going to be a difficulty of a 5.
All right. That is a straight 0, plus and minus and 2 points. So with my engineering skill, that is a 4.
Okay, so not quite enough.
Yep.
If you can, tag an aspect, or
Yeah, I'm going to spend a fate point and invoke leave no stone unturned. So I am going to investigate this handprint lock to its
to its
complete end.
ultimate extent. Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Okie doke. It actually takes it takes you on a couple. Sorry, let me rephrase. Your examination takes you on a couple dead ends because you start looking for things like okay, is it reading fingerprints? Turns out what it actually is reading, it's a sort of device for detecting certain types of minerals.
Huh.
Specific, you're not entirely sure which type of mineral, but because you don't have an example of the material itself, but it is designed to react to a certain concentration of a specific type of mineral, and then unlock whatever it's attached to.
I wonder what's
You have a
been going
bracelet
into my
on or something?
diet lately.
And spend the next 5 minutes staring at Tome.
Yeah. Do you have a
Yes.
bracelet on made of something or?
The only thing that I mean, I have a different deed device than the rest of you. That's something. I'm
I mean,
not- this
Mashavan
isn't-
made that device though.
Mhm.
right.
High
What-
iron diet. Eats a lot of liver.
What's Celia doing?
I mean, we brought back some things to look at. So she'd been running tests on the crystals.
You're coming out a little quiet to me there, Cap.
Oh. Let me.
It's a day of
That's a-
audio issues.
It is, isn't it?
Dun dun dun. Better than Day of the Dead, but
That is true.
there will
Let
be
me
no
just-
zombies. I promise.
Yeah.
just
Day
look
of the
at
Dead
these
audio.
things.
At least not today.
Oh no. Not a zombie fan.
Zombie again. Big mess.
How's that?
Great.
Oh, so
That's
much
better.
Oh, sorry. I wish you guys had told me earlier.
Well,
Sorry.
no, it's just I thought it was like,
No.
oh, maybe it's because you turned your head at that moment, and I didn't realize it was going to be a prevalent problem.
Okay. So, yeah, I think we'd mentioned that we'd brought back some samples
Mhm.
from the age.
Mhm.
So, what a surveyor does best is looking at those samples. We'd already run, some tests on the crystals, and I don't want to run any more inclusion precipitation tests in our small environments and make everything else stinky. But things like, electrical conductivity tests,
Okay.
things we can do a little safer. We've established that they look like Great Zero crystals. So there's probably tests for, do they conduct anything interesting that we can run here?
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead. We could use surveying for that, or we could use, if you're looking more at like chemical composition or that sort of thing, we might use research.
I was going to ask if that's research or experiment.
It depends. How are you approaching it? Are you going to actually be performing experiments?
Yes.
Then
That's
we'll use experiment.
what I was assuming is the lab equipment she set up in session 1.
Sure.
Alrighty. Dice spot. Love me.
Let's give this a difficulty of 4.
Difficulty of 4. Eight dice. Oh.
Brown.
8 dice says -1. +3 is, so that's a +2. So no.
So you got a what?
Total of 2.
A total of 2. Okay. Once again, you can get a tie if you can tag an aspect, or you could collaborate with others to see what ideas you can come up with.
Anybody feel like collaborating?
I don't know if I have anything that can help.
Hit it with a hammer?
I do have a +2 to experiment,
Mm-hmm.
and
I +3 to intrusion.
Fields.
I'm not
Trying to
sure.
get into something.
Intrusion.
I'm
Do you
not
want to try
sure.
Q? Do you want to have Kenneth try an experiment there?
Sure, like, yeah, I think
It would probably be
heat
more towards
related
the
and chemical
chemical.
related.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd
Yeah.
say more towards the chemical side of things because caterers deal a lot with chemistry.
That's true.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Baking is entirely chemistry. So.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's true.
You
So
want
yeah,
to
let's
roll?
give that a 4 again.
Alrighty.
Oh, I got a -1, so I only have a +1 because yeah, my experiment's not that great. I should get different dice, guys. Like I'm getting different
Time to
dice.
shame the dice.
Yeah.
Okie
Yeah.
doke.
Last
I'm
session
gonna-
they were against me. This session's not looking good.
I'm gonna have to find my physical dice because I think DiceBot hates me.
Ah, there you go. Can't trust this virtual stuff. Okay,
That's my
so
logic.
so we've been working on the crystals bit. We haven't been able to find out very much.
At least they didn't tell you.
Mashavin's been taking apart and analyzing the lock and detector mechanism.
Mhm.
What's Landris up to?
Landers is probably, if he's not helping anybody else, he's probably taking this book for Kennelin and going through it and looking at the Gaurhavti that are inscribed in it and how this age works, make sure it's a proper age, make sure of, what we can expect if, because these people are reckless morons, we're inevitably going to link here. And if we link here, when we link here, let's be honest, are there any things that I should be looking out for when we're there?
Sure.
I
Let's give
feel
a research
called
on
out.
5 with a difficulty of 5.
Oh God.
Now, you're not, too
Landris is not
well
good at
versed in the art
researching.
yet, so.
Yeah. That is a 2 with my +1. Yeah, so 2.
2. So once again, any aspects you.
I mean, he's got the Nara. Well, that's performing evaluations in like the actual age themselves, not looking at the book. So, nope.
Oh well.
Totally misses the entry on like.
Yeah,
copious amounts of
I
death
totally.
adders.
Yeah. That swarm of zombies that are hanging out over there next to the slave town. Totally missed it.
Yep.
Gaurhavti for zombies or Death Adders, I think it would probably be something more like tendency to volcanic activity, which means that when we link in, it's actually like, what's that unpronounceable Icelandic volcano?
Yes,
Except
exactly.
that's just going off all the time, and it's just sulfuric spouts and death gases all the
Yeah.
time in the air.
What's so what's Tome doing during all of this?
So I think Tome wants to, I mean, obviously she's very preoccupied with what is her connection to this message, possibly to this age of Kennelin. So now that Mashavin has figured out that there's this mineral connection, I think she wants to try a couple of simple experiments. I think one of them is to see like, will her foot also open this lock? And also if she like washes off a little bit, washes any mineral dust or whatever off of her, which I can't remember if she's done that since the last trip to Unai, just whether that affects anything. I think she's just trying to figure out like, where are these minerals
Oh,
in
that's a good one
relation to her
because you
body?
got really, really dusty from climbing through the cave.
Yeah, I did do a lot of that.
Okay, let's do another experiment roll. Since you have some very specific things you're going to try, let's do it at a 4 instead of a 5.
Is there a way I could help with this?
Yes, you could create an aspect, and if successful with a free invoke, pass that on to Tome.
Okay. Let's see. So I would like to set up kind of clean up everything in a certain area, like sanitize everything. So that way there won't be any interference from our office in this little experiment.
Awesome. Sounds good.
So
That's not hard to do, so let's put that at a 3.
Okay. And I'm using experiment to do this?
You could use experiment or research in this particular case.
Experiment then. All right. That is evens out to a 0. and my experiment is 2. Let's just burn all the fate points right at the beginning.
We are not having luck today.
Yeah, the dice are not happy today.
So I'm going to invoke practical to a fault.
Mhm.
And
That makes
say
sense.
that it is practical to set up this area so that way if we know we
Yeah.
get the results we want.
Proper
And add
procedures, lack
a
of
plus-
contamination. You know, that's all
Yeah.
practical concerns.
and add a +2 to my roll, which gives me a total of 4.
Okay, no, yeah. So you create an aspect of well-ordered experimental area. You have a +1. You have a free invoke on it, which you can then pass to Tome. Okay, so now Tome. Like, oh, mine now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
Tome.
take
Let's do your experiment, and like I said, you're
Yeah.
running you at a 4 there.
May I use research instead of experiment, or is this very clearly experimenting?
This is clearly experimental because it's not you're not basing it off of previous research and knowledge or
Right.
ruffling through books or such.
Right. Well, I rolled a +1. I do not actually have an experiment skill, so I think that would be 0, right? It's just 1, but then I can invoke.
That'll give you a 3 if you add the 2 to it. So you may
Right,
want to
which
use
is
for a
still
reroll.
under 4. Yeah. Just spend a fate point and get a reroll, or use the invoke the aspect to get a reroll.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll just reroll them. Although I don't think I'm going to roll a 4. Yeah, that cancels out to a 0.
Okay.
Darn it.
Now you still have the option to succeed at cost. Which means that something goes wrong, but you do get a chance to figure out the information that you want.
I would like to succeed. I feel like I should at least be able to take the actions that I described taking.
Yeah, I
can
mean, the
imagine-
actual actions you can take, but you'll be able to draw a conclusion if you succeed at cost.
Yeah, I'll try succeeding at cost.
Okay, so you're walking through the steps, like does your foot, or yes, it does. You go ahead and get washed, and you're using, laundress can definitely point out, this is what we do, decontamination sort of things we do for, maintainers and stuff like that. You do that, and it still does react to you. And you try different things, and the conclusion that you come to is that there's something, your body has some sort of minerals in it that the detector is reacting to. It's got to be something, inside your body, probably, systemic, like in your blood or in your bones or something like that, as opposed to, like, say, something like stuck inside you, like a big chunk of metal or something. But yeah, so it's it's some sort of mineral component of your body. Unfortunately, while you've been working with it, doing this and doing that, actually at one point blows a circuit, goes, sparks and.
Sorry, I stepped a little too hard on that handprint panel.
Does it get
Oops.
stuck in the locked or unlocked position?
Hmm?
If it sparks and stuff, does it get stuck, locked, or unlocked?
Well, it has a recording.
Hmm.
So,
Oh no.
The recording stop playing or start playing forever?
the device will no longer play the recording.
No.
Oh good.
But isn't
Oh
it
good. So
playing over and over
Talon
again?
can't find. So Talon can't find out what just happened. Good.
That's
That's a good way to spin it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess on some level, this was the outcome that I expected. I haven't really talked too much about this, but I'm not ethnically Denis. I was adopted from another age. and I'm not sure where, but I wonder if it's responding to some, I don't know, some like racial characteristic, something that would be different in my physiology, maybe.
Well, I am officially curious.
I'm
And it's like, she looked dunny to me. Like, really, can it? Really?
Yeah, that's a statement.
Yes, there's some interesting,
Huh.
Denis social assumptions in the world. Yes.
So we're in the period of time where outsiders are not allowed to like do anything anymore, right?
Generally, outsiders doing, anything, in Denis except the most menial tasks.
Right. There was like a whole war about it, like a couple of generations ago.
Yeah.
No, like oh boy. Oh,
It is a kind of big news.
It's not,
You just hear a crash somewhere else in the headquarters as Landris like falls out of his chair at this revelation.
Literally. Kenneth finds that interesting, but she was like, huh. I'm like, totally thought you were Denny.
Yeah.
Still are then. Whatever.
I mean, I was raised Denis, and my family did try as much as possible to make me blend in. It, yeah, I don't have a great relationship with them, but
If you hadn't
Okie
told
doke.
me, wouldn't have known.
Hmm.
Pretend I never
Okie
heard.
doke. So what are
Mishaven-
you doing?
Mishaven makes it clear that I don't really care that you're not Denis, but I am very curious about where you're from now, so I can understand how this lock works.
thank you. Thank
Or
you. That
worked.
is what I am very curious about too. And I would really love help figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly different end purpose, perhaps.
Okie doke.
Huh.
So what's the plan?
Late evening, right?
Hmm?
It's late evening, right?
It is late evening, yes.
We should probably go to bed at some point and wake up to make sure that we're like available in case house arrest shows up in the morning.
Did we send a message? I thought we sent a message last time to the
Guild of Writers contact. We did. He did.
To
Has
Devlin?
he
Yeah.
texted me back yet?
No messages back yet.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, as tempting as it is to run off and do some more exploring, been quite a day, and I kind of want to have the Guild of Writers at my back before peeing off the Guild of Maintainers any more than they already are.
I
Right.
think that could be a really good lead if we are able to hear back from Devlin before doing too much more. So I'm in favor of sleeping.
Okie doke. Okay, we will.
So okay. So I'm going to ask the question because Landris at the current moment is not in the right headspace. He's currently going through his book because there's an outsider, and he's trying to make sure, like, is this a test? Is this another test to like see if I screw this up? Am I supposed to report this? What's the proper procedure? What's the form I need to fill out for this? So Landris is not in the right headspace. But Tom as the player is sitting here thinking like, so if Tellen kicks in the door in the morning, all this experiment crap we've been doing, where clearly we're supposed to have been staying put,
We should probably
we
hide
put
it.
it back and hide it so that nobody knows we went back to Unai.
That's a good point.
Quick.
Quick, mess up that experiment zone again.
Yeah.
Too clean.
Throw some snack bags around. It looks like we've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, yeah. You guys can,
I'm like
clean up the
season
area, no
4.
problem.
Prom.
Oh, hey. So we can go ahead and then, you guys clean up. Unless anybody says something, I'm figuring you're not doing any other last things before bed.
No, I don't think Kenneth's actually going to be sleeping much. Because it really bothers her, the idea that someone, stupidly, it's that someone else's freedoms might have been taken away.
Mm,
So like if they were like a paid workforce and
That's
they
one
wanted
thing,
to work, that's cool. She's cool with that. And like she's rich. She gets it that people work and, you know, do servantry things. But if like they were forced to work, that actually really bothers her because freedom's super important to her.
Mhm.
So I don't think she's going to have a ton of sleep because she's going to be staying up trying to figure out like potential answers to the question if people if they really were like enslaved some other race on some other age.
Are you doing any specific research?
I didn't expect that to be like a big thing for her, but the freedom thing is really bothering her.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Are you doing any specific research, or are you just pondering the issue, or?
I don't think she has anything there to do research with.
It's gonna link to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Leave everybody else like, so how much you guys get paid? like, I know you get paid, you gotta pay paid, right?
Honestly, that would be really funny if she just like tapped somebody else and was like, "Hey, I want to go."
Hey, Landris, you keep looking over there. I'm gonna take this book. I'll be back later. Bye.
Right for
Here's a
that.
cup of tea and
There's some people in here. There's definitely the calm studying side, and there's definitely the let's do it side. There's a spectrum.
Okay. So I guess the question is anyone going to do anything particularly specific before we fast forward to morning?
We don't see anything new or different if we look at the linking panel again of the Kennelin book, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean,
we
it's
tried
also
that
it's
with
also
Suzanne.
nighttime there now, but
Is it nighttime like that perma nighttime on Tay, or
No.
is it like normal nighttime? Okay.
normal nighttime, yeah.
Is Tay actually nighttime or isn't that just clouds?
Yeah, who knows?
It certainly looks like nighttime. I don't know.
Okay, so are we ready for morning then?
Yes.
Okay, we're ready for morning. Okay, so you rest, no problem about that. You wake up. Are you guys gonna do anything specifically in the morning before something happens, or are you just gonna wait for Talon or something to happen?
Not eating any of Kenneth's cookies.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Actually, she's probably gonna make like a big breakfast, assuming that Talon's not gonna show up in time. And she checked her D and didn't have any messages. I'm
Mhm.
assuming she didn't send the message, so why
Yeah,
would
do
she
we
get a
have any
message?
messages?
So
That's fair.
I think she's probably making a more elaborate meal because they're in one spot. And to try to make it up to Landris for being a jerk yesterday.
I think Celia's gonna put away any sample stuff she didn't put away yesterday.
Sure.
And just like casually tuck away anything from Unai that's been being worked on.
Sounds good.
You know, hey, let's not have this visible.
So there's a respectful knock at the door.
Oh,
Can't be
crap.
telling.
Full. It must not be Talon.
But Landris is gonna slowly put away the book full of like statutes and limitations regarding outsiders and like that kind of stuff he's been poring over all night. It's like, there's not an outsider here. No. Like, get it away.
No, this doesn't bother me at all.
It's not as much it bothers him as it's more of like he wants to make sure how we get out of it. Because clearly Toma is a good person. And there's nothing wrong with her.
Yeah.
But again, it's his last chance.
I don't know if I would necessarily consider her an outsider. I mean, she has been raised in Denise for
Yeah.
the last,
See?
like 12
Right.
years or so. But
So there's got to be a loophole. Is kind of what he's thinking. Like there's got to be a loophole somewhere.
Yeah.
Another the knock repeats.
I suppose someone should answer it. I'll go answer it.
Man.
And undo all 5 blocks.
Dun,
And
Beep.
and open the door and partially, not wide open, but open the door partially and see who's out there.
Okay, you see Adri, the messenger,
Mm.
Right.
and someone in a maintainer's cloak, but they've got like the hood up, sort of thing. Adri says, "I've been instructed by Master Talon to conduct you to his office.
Wait,
May we come in?"
Hold on a moment. We're not all decent yet.
Well, we would prefer to wait inside.
Tova is definitely going to kind of slink away because Adri is the one person who kind of recognized her.
Yeah, so I make when he introduces himself, I say clearly that good morning, Andrew, and representative
Right.
of the Guild of Maintainers. How nice to see you this morning.
Oh my god.
It's very nice. It's very nice to see you too.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Come on in. There's extra pancakes.
We
Whoa.
lost somebody.
Landers.
We lost Landris.
Oh, dear.
Hold on.
I'm
I have me
Kenneth.
futz with my
Yeah, now we're all
Now
like,
we're all playing each other's
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
characters.
Suddenly you're in different bodies.
That could be a fun episode.
Okie doke.
Where you go, Thomas?
Yeah, I know.
It is the day of technical difficulties.
It is a day of technical difficulties.
Gremlins.
Let me see here real quick. We'll give him a minute while I'll try to clean up things so people are in the right places. Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Welcome back.
sorry.
Yay.
Back.
Your audio's kind of choppy, and your
Your
video's
internet's
choppy.
Still recovering, it seems.
Oh, heck. All right, I'm gonna turn off my video. I'm gonna go reset my. I'm following around where everybody's going. Put it that way.
All right.
Okay, okay. Well, we may have a little bit of switching around when it comes to our windows here. But okay, we can continue.
Kenneth would totally offer them food just to delay going to see Talon just to piss them off.
So, do you actually let them in?
Yes, I let them in after a few seconds of delaying for people to get ready.
Okay.
Yeah, is that few seconds of delay enough for? I think we've maybe established that Tome knows some sort of a back way out.
Yeah.
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 I think she may take advantage of that in those few seconds.
Sure.
What's the person's name again for the notes I'm taking?
Oh, Adri's the messenger.
Okay.
The young, fresh-faced messenger. Oh, and there's the switch. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out something in the future that handles this a little bit better.
We know who we are.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you know who you are, and that's really what counts, isn't it? Okay, so they step inside. Adri closes the door, and the maintainer pulls back his hood, and it's actually Devlin.
Ooh.
And Adri looks around and says, "You will be taking an extra long amount of time getting ready to see Master Talon." And
Sounds good.
I might write on my D to let Toma know
okay,
that it's Devlin, just so that she's not thinking we're gonna like take off real soon or leave without her or anything, and stays up to date.
sounds good.
It's like, it's cool. It's not a maintainer. It's that other person you want to avoid. I mean,
She sends you kind of like a thumbs up react.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Disney version of thumbs up emoji.
yeah,
Right.
Okie doke.
just like a beetle.
Yeah, a little.
And that should be
It's
better,
a
right?
it's a beetle, a very happy beetle.
Be the best.
Yes, you're better, Landris.
Yeah, I swatched DSL instead of the actual hard line, so
Okay.
Well,
that should be better.
so yeah, so what's happened is Adri and the maintainer have come inside. Adri closed the door behind him and said, "You will be taking an extra long time preparing for your meeting with Master Tellen." And then the maintainer pulls his hood off, and it's Devlin in a maintainer robe. And so Devlin says, "So I understand that you wish to talk to me."
Would you like to join us for breakfast?
I would be delighted. Thank you very much.
Yay.
Adri nods and slips out the door and closes it behind him.
Did we find out about the shadow person from Toma?
No,
You
I don't
did.
think so. Tomei
No.
never pursued that figure. She just she came back inside.
But did you tell us about it?
Yes, I believe. Yeah, I think
thought
she would
so.
have. I think so.
So-
Um,
So,
Yeah.
so I am guessing that you have some interesting stories to tell.
Yeah, you could say that. For one, we got these crates, and Siglia points to the remnants of the crates with the Guilders Maintainers logo
Hmm.
that contain 5 books from the Guild of Maintainers,
Hmm.
which got delivered in here. Only when Master Tellen showed up to yell at us, he said that we were not here to receive the books he had sent to us. So these books were not from him.
Yes. My understanding is that Master Tellen will discover that it was simply a logistical error.
That the books were delivered early?
That these were books that were meant for another location, and you received an incorrect shipment.
Do we tell him that we looked at the shipment?
I don't think he needs to know that. Do you?
Now I'm wondering if the other 4 have the same interesting issues as the one we went to.
Do you say that out loud?
Did you say that, or are you thinking that?
I think I would say that out loud. Except they were all meant to go to some other space. There must be a reason.
My understanding is that they are all interesting places, and it's important for there to be a thorough and impartial survey of those locations.
Do you think
I
Helen is
figured.
involved in whatever's going on in them?
I am uncertain.
Thus, best not to tell him that we went there.
Tellen, I would be surprised if Tellen was in fact involved, but he is the
Might
sort of
look like
person who
someone
would
is.
communicate communicate details to people who might be involved. That he unknowingly would communicate details to people who might be involved.
Hmm.
I generally have the most respect for Tellen's work ethic.
Please tell me
Just
why.
Well,
order
The
coffee,
same
like,
facial
oh,
expression.
Comfortable. So
Gotta say something nice, drink coffee. Okay. But did you send us these books then? On purpose? Like, enough screwing around. Too much mystery.
I did hope that you would discover things that others have not.
You hoped we'd open them and go right on in, which is exactly what we did. Believe just says it.
You know,
She knows what she's about.
a good Denis curiosity and urge to explore is something that I think is a virtue, don't you?
Absolutely.
A drink to that.
So,
Interesting.
did you have more stories about your explorations?
Are we gonna tell him, guys?
We
Uh,
did find evidence of bunny inhabitation in the one we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
With a single day, we've only had a chance to look at Unai.
Unai, yes. What sort of habitation?
Mining.
Mining.
A lot of mining.
A lot of mining. Extensive? So an extensive facility?
It is what we're good at.
And
Or it
reason.
was. There's not much left. They've
Not
kinda-
much left. What do you mean by
It
that?
seemed like they were kind of cleared out. All this dust everywhere, and there wasn't a lot of equipment. We
So
didn't
they've
actually
left?
meet a real person. We didn't meet anybody, but they hadn't been gone that long.
So they cleared out recently, you're saying?
I thought it seemed that way.
There were excavators there,
Mm-hmm.
but there weren't people there.
Right.
And they did have rooms with compartments.
Did
And
you
doors and
discover
stuff.
anything? Any documentation? Any evidence?
I'm not sure if Tome is within earshot of this, but if she is, I think she would definitely send a message to the group being like, please don't mention Kennelin.
The busted recorder, maybe instead.
Right.
We
found
found
this-
evidence, but we broke it.
I'm betting. Are you saying that out loud?
I think that would seem reasonable. Because
it
Yeah.
would.
A recorder we can't operate is
Hmm.
what we brought back.
Can you show me?
Yes. And I get the thing and show him, and it's some sort of identity scanner, as evidenced by the handprint.
Mm-hmm.
However, while we were trying to figure out how it worked, it slightly exploded. As you can
Was
see
that due to error, or do you think that was an intentional fail-safe device?
it was almost certainly due to us overusing it, trying to figure out how it worked.
Well, once again, I can't fault the desire to understand. So yes. So I'm guessing that you were a little bit curious about why you received these particular books.
One could say that.
and if they have any commonality besides a suspicion in them. Were they written by the same writer or group of writers?
No, not written by the same writers, but there is definitely a common suspicion. These particular ages sort of got lost amongst our records at one point, in a sort of suspicious way, and I was able to track down linking books to all of these ages. And one of the reasons that I called this particular group together is that I needed a viewpoint of these ages that was not contaminated. And I needed someone who could look at these ages that was a bit, who were not going to always follow the standard protocols. So that I could find out.
Landris.
Yeah.
Landris's eyes are very narrow. He's very intently staring. He clearly has something he's thinking about, but he is holding his tongue for now.
So there has been some activity involving these ages. They were hidden. Records of them were suspiciously lost. So my suspicion is that there was a group of Denis whose goals were not particularly legal. And I'd hoped that I could get some more information. While going through more usual channels, I often hit walls, both literal and figurative. And so I figured that there must be some group of people who don't want what's happening here known, which automatically made me want to know it even more.
Mhm.
So I decided to take a strategy that was a bit of lateral thinking. So I do apologize for inadvertently getting you involved in something that might be very dangerous. But like I said, I needed a perspective that was very different from the ones I had access to.
Makes sense.
So you found an illegal. You found something that looked like an illegal sort of settlement of some sort
With mining.
with mining. A mining operation.
Mhm.
But they
But-
had left recently.
We did take some pictures, if I remember.
Yes,
So
we did.
Celia pulls up a couple on her D and just shows him
Did it.
the pictures of the excavators.
Mm-hmm. Like, yes, that is repurposed it.
Funny equipment,
Yeah, study equipment repurposed.
but no guild markings,
Mhm.
no symbols, nothing official that, as a surveyor, nothing I would be trained to recognize if it was, tunnel digging equipment like that expedition to the surface, which, of course, she would have known about
Oh yeah, absolutely.
the tunnels,
Yeah.
official equipment.
There's some cave-ins. We noticed like there's a lot of debris. So maybe
Cave-ins. So just were they recent cave-ins or?
The most exciting or interesting cave-in looks like it had
Been deliberate.
maybe purposely covered the entrance to the mining operation.
An intentional cave-in?
It seemed to be caused by an explosive of some sort. Now, one could theorize that would be accidental, but the placement and timing is leaning toward intentional.
Yes, obviously someone is trying to cover their tracks.
Mhm.
Which means that someone is anticipating what I'm doing.
someone's onto you.
Have you visited any of the other ages?
No,
We just
Yeah,
had
we
a
haven't
yeah.
gone.
Just a few days on Unai. Uh-huh.
Just day in a bed.
Do you still have all the linking books that I sent?
Before we get to that,
Mm-hmm.
I have a query for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we've put ourselves at great risk by even just accepting these books. You would agree?
Mm-hmm.
We've put ourselves at even greater risk by keeping certain aspects of them secret from the Guild of Maintainers.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you wish for us to continue down this avenue of investigation for you on your behalf.
Not just for me, but these Denis who use ages in illegal ways, who exploit these people, exploit resources in unethical ways. They're stains on Denis, on what it means to be Denis. And so I hope that you'll understand that I'm trying to root out weak parts of the ethically weak parts of a structure, so that we remain strong.
I understand that entirely. I understand that a member of the council and other members who are very clearly not at the table right now are asking us to go and undertake all of the risk so that they can fulfill their greater good for all of Dunny without any risk to themselves. And so I have a request for you, Guildmaster, and I'll row rapport or whatever you want for this, because because Landers is about to pull. He's been thinking. He's like, wait a minute, this is my only shot at this job, and now you've gone and you've screwed it all up. And he's a little irritated.
Fair enough.
He's like, I need something, and it's something that would never be allowed to a member of the maintainers. As a matter of fact, it would be something that would be quite heavily guarded by the Guild of Writers, so much so that if it were found within the hand of the Guild of Maintainers, it might not look terribly wonderful upon a member of the Guild of Writers.
Oh.
If we are going to be able to affect all of this in secret, we can only rely on Mashaman so much before somebody is inevitably going to get in here and discover what we're doing. So we need to make another place, a place that nobody else can get to, a place that nobody else has access to. For that, I need a book. I need to know how to write our own.
Ah. So you would like instruction in writing?
Yes. I can create the linking books. I cannot create the descriptive book. We need to create a descriptive book of our own that nobody else has access to.
Go ahead and roll your rapport.
Come on, Landers.
This is going to be tough. This is a high difficulty here, so we're at 5.
So you know how you're upset about these unregistered ages? You want to make another one?
You got a 6. You rolled.
I got a 6. My rapport's a +3.
Holy shit.
There you go.
Yay.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. Make another unregistered.
I can fail every roll the rest of the session. I made that one. That's the important one for me.
Yeah. You nailed that.
So, instruction in the art is a long process. I can definitely make sure that you receive appropriate instruction. That might not get you what you want in any quick way. So I will absolutely make sure that you receive skilled instruction in the art. Like you said, I've put you in a situation, a perilous one, and that does, you do deserve some compensation for that. However, like I said, that may not get you exactly what you want in a timely manner. So let's make another deal. So I will provide you with an age that has not been reported to the maintainers in exchange for more information on what's happening. So if you will explore the remaining books and provide reports on all of them, at that point I will provide you that age.
So a safe space and a home base to work from.
One. So in addition to the training the training that you've requested for in the art of writing.
Counterpoint to this. As you've stated, it's taken us days just to get through the barest information of Unai. It could take us days longer, and Talon is already growing suspicious. Having something more readily available sooner would benefit both parties in this situation. For if Talon knocks on our door later this afternoon and kicks it in and has the maintainers come in and perform a full sweep of our quarters, surely they would discover anything untoward.
Oh, and he has the Unai book.
He has the Unai book already. We have a copy to get us there.
Well,
So it's not lost to you.
Yeah.
So it is not lost, and we can still continue investigating. However, should he inspect top to bottom this entire office that we have here, he would most assuredly find everything. So having a place where we could keep them more securely in a more rapid fashion would be very good, especially as when we are on these excavations, we can't just leave somebody here to keep watch at all time. And again, as great as Mashavan is with his creations, somebody will, if they try hard enough, eventually get through.
Mm.
Alas, that is correct.
If we
Blunt force
agree
trauma
that we
overcomes
will
every
complete, sorry,
Correct.
we
Of
agree
course,
that we
yes.
will complete them, would that suffice, Master Devlin?
That's going to take a little bit of time. And I think we're going to need a secure location at the knee that to keep books that lead outward. I have some ideas. Just a moment. He goes over to the door, opens the door. Adri's still standing outside. And he goes, Adri, we're going to need a safe house. Adri kind of looks at him for a sec. Okay. And walks off. Devlin closes the door and says, we'll be able to get something. I'll get something to you on that. At the very least, there'll be a place where you'll be able to put linking books that will be unknown to Master Talon. And I think that we can go from there.
Is it going to be a problem that Master Talon confiscated the Unai book and knows we're looking at that? Or do you think what you're saying about that book was an accidental delivery to us will be sufficient?
We'll provide. Master Talon will find convincing evidence that it was an error. Most of our, let's just say that we have some people who will be able to help us who are good at being unseen. So
That doesn't sound sketchy or anything.
Yeah,
so
kill the writers is the
Well,
mob.
while we work on this, is there any other more immediate resources I can provide? I mean, I've made at least one promise to Laundress. Is there other compensation that any of you might wish for this particularly dangerous activity?
Mhm.
Can it probably nudges Landerson's like, we burned through a lot of descriptive books. Like, don't forget to ask for more.
Oh, right.
We-
Yeah,
We
yeah.
literally did burn.
Linking books. Yeah.
So-
we
Yeah,
were-
Cortinia would be very, very useful, but he will let somebody else ask that question.
Yeah.
Because he's also thinking like Mashavan could use an actual key instead of a D, but that's Mashavan to ask.
Yeah, I had not thought this was coming yet, so I'm still thinking.
Well, we
Can it
think
actually
on
looks
that.
it's
Think
more
on that, and
dangerous?
we will get think on that, and within a few days, I should myself or someone, or possibly Adri or some other representative will contact you, and we will complete our negotiations.
Is
Okay.
there a way we'll know who your authorized representatives are if they're not Adri?
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Ring with the seal of the Scarlet Pimpernel. Sorry, I love that movie.
As a GM, I'm like, oh yeah, right.
Almost certain
Like,
tenants
crap.
didn't-
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job. Yeah.
Perhaps a code phrase.
Yeah, code phrase. I'm trying to think of a cool code phrase, but I'm having a problem with that.
Sorry, I just sprang that on you.
No problem.
It's a reasonable
I'll go with the we'll go with the
That's
obvious
fancy.
here. It's like, well, anyone who wishes, who either Adri or myself will, if they ask you about any strange seeds you found recently, dun dun dun.
Covered.
Then you'll know that they're representatives of myself.
Okay.
That's good.
Great. But could we also get a few more blank descriptive books or blank books because we, of course, have to destroy them when we come back here. So we've kind of went through a couple on Unai.
I
due
can
to some
arrange
emergency
that as
measures.
well.
So that would expedite our discoveries, I think, knowing that we
that can be
can
arranged.
leave things straight. Yeah.
That can be arranged.
Good.
Well, with that, I will take my leave, and we will be discussing things soon.
Okay.
Thank you
So
for
he
meeting with
hikes
us.
Thanks for your time.
he hikes the hood over, and then slips out the door.
As he slips out the door, I think Tomei, who has kind of let herself out the back, tries to determine whether or not this hooded devlin is in fact the same shadowy figure she saw before. Is there a skill check I should make for that, or like a notice?
Yeah, so go straight notice on that one.
Okay.
And it's not going to be that hard, so let's give it a 3.
Yeah, that is unfortunately a 0.
The dice hate us today, don't they?
No, they hate me at least.
I made my roll. I'm happy.
Yeah, Landis is one amazing roll.
We all need new dice, except Thomas.
Thomas can just, send us some of his dice, and then we'll spread out the
Amazon.
mojo.
I got them from Amazon. You can get them there.
Yeah, I don't know if Tomei could bring her.
Is there any
truth sense,
thing that you can tag?
yeah, possibly. I mean, truth sense allows her. She's good at detecting BS, but I think that'd be more like verbal than rather than like a disguise. A cloak. She as her. I mean, I could try to invoke undercover public figure since she knows something about being undercover.
Oh yeah.
I'd be willing to go with that for this. You're used to
that too.
hiding, so
Yay.
I
Okay.
think you're used to hiding in the ways that people might try to disguise themselves, like the whole put a pebble in your shoe to change your gait.
Yeah.
I've actually
Yeah.
done that one and it does in fact work, but hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
I bet.
Take a lymph for acting on stage.
Oh,
Like that time, I was gonna get caught for Grand Theft Auto, so
yeah. The bank job, yeah.
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 Okay, so
No,
yeah,
I was
do
Okay.
you do another roll, or will the points get you far enough?
Actually, since I was at 1, if I add 2, that'll
There you go.
match, right? So I
Yeah.
will just do that.
You're pretty sure that that is not the same person.
Okay.
oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know how much that tells us, given that he did allude to a network of shadowy figures, but it could still be someone working for Devlin, I guess. But that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so yeah, Tomei sneaks her way back into the basement. Catches up with everyone.
So, what are you doing?
Should we try to get through another age before we meet Talon so that we can try to get more information before they cover everything up?
Talon's coming tomorrow, correct?
No.
I thought we were supposed to meet him this afternoon or something.
Yeah,
We're supposed to delay.
There's another respectful knock on the door.
Oh.
Okay.
Can I actually ask an out of character question?
Sure.
We're about halfway through the session timer.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
this
you
seems
ready
like
for a
good
break?
place to put. I would like a bio break.
Sounds awesome. I can do
I'm
that.
sorry, guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
not a problem.
cool. I was kind of thinking that myself.
Okay, I
Thank
was
you very
like, before
much.
we get to another convo, I really wish to request a bio.
Okay, okay. So everybody, we'll be back in 5:10. You need you think 10 minutes is or 5?
5 is fine.
Okay, cool. 5 minutes.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks.
Hey.
Hello, and we are back. Let's have everybody say hello so that we make sure our audio is working.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Okay. Hopefully, everybody can hear us in the chat, and hopefully people can hear me. Audio check good. Thank you very much, chat. Thank you. I'm gonna mispronounce your name, but it's Iazan. Iazan.
I love chat.
But thank you very much. And Lone Squiff, thank you out there too. Thanks a lot, Lone Squiff.
Love
Like-
chat.
I can just start, mouthing word.
Right.
But okay. Let's do this one here. Actually, I don't want to share
My
that for the moment.
subtitle role appears to be also chat wrangler. I
Yep.
mean, I know Ellery's doing the official Unwritten RPG chat wrangling,
Yep, she
but I
is.
seem to be the player chat wrangler.
Yeah. Hey,
Uh,
yeah,
So
we're all a
person
big
who
happy
has-
family here.
The person who had
Oh,
the
yeah.
foresight to have the chat open. Yes.
They're funny.
Okie doke. So there was Devlin had left. There was a little bit of discussion, and then there was
Polite
another
knock.
Another polite
Another
knock.
polite.
another polite knock. Exactly.
Another person who's not telling. What is going on?
Yeah.
Well, so I have a quick question
Probably-
before we get this second polite knock. Audrey had already left to go deal with the safe house question, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's nobody in here but us chickens.
Okie doke. So who's opening the door?
I can get it this time.
Hi.
Okay.
So
If I can manage the locks. No.
Get it with a pancake in your hand.
Yeah.
So since they've been installed, Loungers just lets Mashavan handle all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Just like a sausage on a fork, like a really menacing fork, maybe.
I like it.
So yeah, she'll open the door.
it's actually
Like, what do
Adri.
you want?
Adri at the door
Oh, wow.
again, just saying. So
I figured.
now that you have completed all the getting ready this morning, I am ready to take you to Master Talon.
Oh, great.
Great.
Bollocks. Landers quickly shuffles upstairs and puts on his like proper maintainer robes, like make sure his hair's in the right place, everything's within regulations. Checks, pulls out the little like mustache ruler to make sure like it's not longer than it's supposed to be.
Everything's regulation.
Mhm.
Your mustache must be
Cause-
this big.
Because he figures he's about to have to lie his butt off in some way, shape, or form. And this is about to not be a fun meeting. So
Mhm.
we're gonna at least look good.
Okay.
All right, fine. I'll put out the cook fire and all that.
Okay. So yeah, Adri leads you through through the streets in the usual to one of the maintainer guild houses where Talon generally works. And comes in and Master Talon is has been waiting for these people. Someone runs to the back and you hear Talon go, "It's about time! Get him in here!" So they're like, yes, here. Talon's sitting at his desk, in sort of a got that usual Talon scowl on his face. It's like, sit down. So,
After spells, yes, guild master.
what took you so long?
You know how it is. Security's a little complicated to undo. It took us a bit to get out of our office.
Wow.
Do you think
Breakfast.
that's designed really well then, if it takes long to get out?
Breakfast.
Yes.
Having to work with the rudimentary materials we've been given, Guildmaster, certain sacrifices have to be made. And sometimes those sacrifices are our own precious time. But in this case, that does happen to be your precious time, for which we are deeply, deeply sorrowful for.
So are you complaining that we're not giving you appropriate resources?
Yes.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. Every single one of these things is just a challenge that you have placed before us for us to overcome and conquer, as true Dunny should.
Sylvia texts bootlicker.
just sort of, he kind of just looks at Law Anderson like,
Are you for real?
Yavo never gives you a stone you cannot lift. Okay. So I've done some research, and you were not supposed to, he holds up the Unai book. You were not supposed to get this book. Did you enter the age at all?
Yes, they knew. Well, we still had to get, a lot of
Did-
stuff
did they-
ready.
Sit down and get a cover story ready before this discussion. Did we plan this last night? Can I just pause the action for a second and ask that question? Because we did have
Well,
last
so
night.
didn't we already tell him we went there and that was the only one that we had received and gone to?
Right, because he asked where were you, and we had said.
Oh yeah, you were
Right.
exploring, yeah.
True,
Yeah.
that's
Said we
true.
were in
It
the
was
book,
our
and he said
alibi.
what book.
Yeah, so we were
So
investigating
yeah, we
the
had
age.
to have said that we were in
Yeah.
this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I think when we decided that we were sacrificing
so
it
this
to
is
save the rest.
this totally. Yes, Guildmaster, as we had informed you previously, would you prefer to see the reports that have been gathered upon the age that we were able to affect already?
Because we believed that it was because it came from the messengers with the maintainer symbol, because we believed it was the correct book at the time, we had entered the book and developed a preliminary report. Since you mentioned that this was not the book we were supposed to have, would you be interested in seeing the information we have to date, or would you prefer us just dispose of the irrelevant data and work on the book that you're actually going to give us now?
Well, there's no need to waste the data itself. Yeah, I'd like to see the report. Hopefully, you guys didn't destroy anything there. Any catastrophes there that I should be aware of?
Of course not, Guildmaster. We
Seeing the
we followed
report.
maintainer protocol to the letter.
It was pretty boring.
There were rocks,
Yeah.
and they smelled bad.
And you said that this was the only linking book that you received?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Toma is kind of excusing herself from this conversation by
Yeah.
pretending to fall asleep in the corner. She's just kind of pretending to
just
doze
the
off a little
intern.
bit.
Just the intern. Don't ask me stuff. Just the intern.
He kind of looks at you and is like, I will expect that report delivered first thing tomorrow morning.
Understood, sir.
And tomorrow morning, first thing, I'm going to be presenting you with an actual age that you were supposed to research. I expect it to be researched quickly. I expect it to be researched efficiently. And I expect not to have any more problems from you that I have to go take care of. This one was not your fault, fine. But you could, in an uncontrolled, in an unexplored age like that, you could have caused all sorts of damage. So I will personally deliver the next book to you tomorrow morning, bright and early, or whatever Denis equivalent there is. And I don't want to have any further problems with this group. Am I understood?
Yes.
100%.
Unequivocally.
So to clarify, you say personally, do you mean yourself personally or a member of your personal staff
I
will deliver this
be
book?
there myself with a book.
Very good. So if
And I will
anybody else
hand
from
it
the
to you, and it better not go anywhere else besides this group.
and so if there is another person from the Guild of Maintainers who brings other books at the
Ignore them.
same time or beforehand,
are you expecting another group of maintainers to come by?
No, but we were not expecting the last group of maintainers to come by.
It was an error caused by the messengers. No offense, Audrey, but sometimes they're not paying attention. So it'll be me, not anyone else, not my parents, not my children, not Yavo himself, just me. You take my book,
Yeah.
Yavo himself breaking a book.
you spend the day
I was gonna say,
looking
like,
around,
his
you
eyes
give
get,
me a
like, really
report.
big.
Okay. Report.
Understood, Guildmaster.
Okay. And once again, I don't want to have any other problems with this, okay? Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Understood,
Good. Now,
Guildmaster.
get out of here. Go away.
Guildmaster, I believe your key just went off.
My apologies.
Honk, honk.
Oh, hi. Adri, who's still in the room, kind of like, okay.
We go.
And so, he walks out with you out of the guild house. He kind of looks at you and says, "That's all. I think that's all we need for now. Please, I hope you have a very," kind of looks around, "uneventful day." And he bows and then leaves.
Okay.
Great, we have a full day.
Yep. Let's go.
So what do you do?
Well,
Uh,
I'm back to Unai, obviously.
Back to the base.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
Which age are we going to? We should try to get through
So,
these
hey.
before we tip off anybody else.
Hey, Toma, as we're walking back, do you want to see if there's a shadowy person following us?
Oh, following us, huh?
That's a good point.
Sure. If you want to suggest, I could. My notice skill is not super strong, but I could make a notice check.
Everybody have a good notice skill. Not kidding.
I would be willing to, if you want to kind of, surreptitiously kind of, go down a side alley or something and then kind of keep an eye out. I'd be willing to do all that with a stealth check.
Ooh, I do have good stuff. I mean, would Toma do something like that? Yes. So sure.
Toma is an expert at the art of SDR.
SDR, actually, I don't know what that is.
Surveillance detection route.
Oh, there you go.
Like, that's not how you spell.
There's a little bit of
Toma,
education in
Oh, wait.
every episode. Yeah,
That's
so.
different.
Yes.
Thanks for asking me. I did not know either. Okay. So let me make that stealth check then. It's a +3.
+3, yeah, it's good enough. So you kind of take a look around, and you can see that Talon is watching you guys leave from the window of his office. But there doesn't seem to be any other people who seem to be paying much attention. No people in the shadows, etc., etc.
Okay. Yeah, I'll slip back in with the group and let everyone know that no, Talon has a tail. We do not.
Okie doke. Okay, so you make it back to the base. What's up? What you doing?
So we have a day before Talon shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
And he wants a report on Unai, so we should put together the most innocuous report possible, and we should focus on talking about things like there appeared to be naturally carved steam tunnels with rocks that explode due to contact with some unknown substance, and there are crystals that might be suitable for use in mechanical applications similar to the Great Zero. Unfortunately, purifying them from inclusions is very stinky, blah, blah, blah. I'd be happy to write that up for us.
That would be
I'll say,
great.
lu-
Especially
luckily-
prefaced with we walked 500 meters this way, then we walked 500 meters
Yeah.
that way, and then we walked another 500
We
meters.
followed a routine surveillance
great.
protocol as per Landris. You'll tell me what page the manual's to cite.
I was gonna say,
I like that.
Uh,
Make sure it's
look-
nice and dry, but
Yeah,
also
because-
obvious that we really did go there, so
And
that
then
we.
there are boring, and then I'll give details of how to purify out inclusions, and he'll probably doesn't care about that. So he'll probably just glaze over and go, maybe these will be useful.
Cool. So we'll give Celia and probably Landris some time to write up that. We should probably write the
Well,
report before we
so-
go in case we get tied up, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so because Landris has this wonderful journey aspect where he's neurotically cautious about performing evaluations of ages, he probably has this report mostly done already. Because that's just who, because he's also trying to atone, and this is like his one shot. This report's probably about 75% done and just needs some light editing to make it
Celia
not
goes
look
through-
like we're terrible.
Yeah.
Celia goes through and removes all the instances of the reference to like murder rocks. She's like, that's
Oh no,
And-
he's much he's much more professional. He refers to them as the spontaneously combusting ignean ignean outcroppings.
Yeah,
There we go.
igneous outcroppings. I love it.
Okay, so it's not going to take long, is
No.
what you're saying.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And Celia will
something-
put in, maybe Celia, maybe Miss Robin can put in additional details of like experiments they ran or noticed or
Yeah.
anything that
Yes.
has nothing to do with the signs of Dunny visitation that we found, so that this just sounds like the most boring age possible, and like the crystals are the only potentially interesting part.
yes.
Toma is like, I lost my fire marble. I found it. Done.
So then while they're doctoring the report and making it appropriate for Tellin, Landris is getting more and more paranoid about because
Go figure.
we're like actively breaking rules at this point. Like we're in this like subterfuge plot. So Toma has this great hiding spot that nobody knows where it is. Landris wants to also just make some extra copies of the other linking books they have, so that we have, aside from Unai, because we only have one of those, but for every other linking book we have, I want a backup in case like something goes wrong that is only where Toma knows. So if Toma gets kidnapped, we're hosed, but otherwise he knows where they are. If Tellin comes and he's like, yeah, found all these other ones, why'd you lie? Until we
Like,
have our safe house, they're
intern.
somewhere safe.
So this is going to involve briefly linking to all of those places, right? To finish.
Well, no, because I can. Oh, yes, that's true.
It has to be written
That's-
in the location.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Rah. Heckin' dog.
And especially
Yeah.
with like Kennelin, for example, where there are people there, I think we need to be careful about linking in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we should
Agreed.
save Kennelin because we didn't tell Devlin about it,
We did not.
and therefore, and it's going to be obvious from our report to Tellin that we didn't find anything there.
Mhm.
So only Devlin knows for sure that we have four books.
Yep.
Mhm.
And Tellin suspects that we have 4 books because I'm guessing the numbers on the boxes didn't match up. And that's why he asked us if we had more. So I know you really are curious, Toma, and you really want to go. I'm thinking if we could do this for Devlin first, like do the other 4 ages, then we might have, I don't know, a bit more leeway to explore a little, this other one a little bit more carefully. Like Kennelin, we're wanting to be really careful and really certain about what we want to do and what we want to know when we go there. And we only have a day.
Business
So-
before pleasure, as the saying goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good point. I feel like Toma is like, oh yeah, we're working 2 different jobs right now, but I just want to do this side project that's called Kennelin and spend all my time on that.
Yeah.
It's just, I
Right.
think you might not be too, like you won't be satisfied if we have to rush through Kennelin. You're not going to be satisfied with what we find either. So like we should have the time to take the time to do it right.
Yeah.
So if we can get through these other ones, at least no one knows Kennelin exists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, some people do, but they don't know we have it. Yes, unless they link in and find it that we busted into their lab and stolen their stuff, their desk.
No, I think that's
And
a
that's
good
something.
idea.
That's another thing I'm concerned about. Like that's why I want like backups of these books, is because if anybody goes back to that spot, we're hosed. Like we're found out. We're the only people who have been there on the
Yeah.
record now.
That's true.
And if Talon does any sort of extra looking, he's going to know we've got other books too. And so we're hosed there. So I'm trying to figure out how we get around the problem.
Well, if you write out the books until the last page, you just have to finish them there,
Right.
right? So
Yes.
you could write the other 5 we have
Yep.
out except for the last page.
Yeah,
And
you
then at
could-
least it's
Right.
fast when we leave.
Yeah. When we go there for the first time to each new age, you take one of the books. the book
Right.
for
But if
that
Talon
age.
takes them all tomorrow morning,
Well, he shouldn't be searching. He should just be coming to give us a book, right?
in theory, but Landris is paranoid.
It's a good hiding
Well,
place.
also we'd probably need another copy of the office book of like our
Right.
That's-
That's
base book.
yeah. We need more copies of that too, because if we have to go to these, because
Yeah,
So
because
honestly, I think that's more important than the backup books.
we need to be able to get home.
Okay.
yeah.
And
Without
we had
making
to
time
it
leave
making
that
notes.
last
about
book
us.
on Unai, so because I think you hit it, or you had Celia.
No, we hid that
I
one.
burned
We
it when I
burned
was
the-
coming back.
Yeah, you did.
We burned the
Burned it
first-
coming back when I made the copy.
Yeah, we burned the
So we
first,
need
hid
more
the
office
second.
books.
Yeah. So I'll write. Okay. So I'll spend some time writing some more office books,
Yeah.
and then I guess I'll get 5 ready for the other ones we have, so that they just need to be finished in the age. But for the most part, I'm focused on getting the office books done.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
While Laundress is doing that, what are other people doing? Just we'll do a montage quickly.
Well, I'll repack all our gear that we had to wash because it should be dry now.
Uh-huh.
So that's what Kenneth's going to do, is get everything repacked and into all the bags.
Mhm.
But I don't know if we're going to need it all. Like,
Yeah.
are we going to try to get it all 4 ages in one day?
No.
We
No.
don't have time.
No.
We'd
But we
to
don't
pick
have
one.
time to camp overnight either, so maybe we can just go
No.
light.
Yeah, likely. Make
Yeah,
it
we
easier.
should be able to move relatively quickly.
Yeah, I
And
think we're
something
just gonna do a single recon.
Yeah, we'll ditch
Something-
the sleeping tent stuff and just take like food, water, and our exploration things.
yeah.
So we still have the crates that the books came in, right?
Mhm.
I would like to create a mechanism so that the top can, like, one can hold the top slightly open, and when released, say when someone links, it will shut and automatically lock.
That shouldn't be hard to do at all.
Yeah,
won't
you
even
can
make you
hold
roll
it
for that
open with
one.
your hand even by sticking it in.
Cool.
So that way we can have a way to maybe, like, we can surreptitiously hide a small box rather than burning books all the time.
A good idea.
Because then we've just got then we're just leaving a locked box behind on the other edge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's with the locks keyed to just your D's.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
That's a really cool idea.
Mahan, so Tomei, what are you doing during the montage?
So are there any more books for me to stow away? I guess Kennelin maybe has not been stowed away yet. So I think this, I don't know, this might be a little bit too sneaky, but what I'm sort of imagining is that Tomei says that she's going to go hide that book with the others and keep it safe, but actually she just puts it in her bag because she wants to keep an eye on the linking panel. She's like she's very attached to it. She's agreeing with the group, like we're not going to explore it right now, but she's going to keep it close with her.
Okay.
Sure,
cool.
if that's what you want to do.
I think so. Yeah. Maybe that'll make things interesting. We'll see.
Oh, definitely.
Okie doke. And so we, Kenneth, Mashavin, what's Celia doing?
I said I was doing the report, remember?
Oh, you're
Right,
you're
yeah.
doing the report. Okay.
Right.
So we got a montage of Celia writing a report, and then Mashavin, like, filling in with the boxes and the mechanisms, and then, Landris carefully writing out, Garo have tea, and Kenneth, mixing things up. And then there's this one scene of, Tome like hiding things and then taking that book and going, ta-da! Okay, all done.
Great.
So now that you've got all the sundry things taken care of, what's the plan?
We're gonna pick one of the 4 remaining ages to go to.
Think so. Like we should try to find the dirt before they try to cover up like they did in Unai.
So we have Heller, Callan,
Lost Hope.
Lost Hopes,
And Ishna.
and Ishna. Okay.
Let's not do Lost Hopes right before we're about to get grilled by Tellan again. I feel like we're going to get stuck there for a few days, and Tellan's going to be even more mad that we weren't here.
Yeah, maybe we should just go to the tropical beach. I think Callan is a tropical beach, right? I feel like after like the scraggly, rocky wasteland of Unai, we deserve somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Also, like Kenneth's like, like what could possibly be interesting about a desert? So, like they're more likely to be doing terrible things in a pretty jungle, right?
Okay, so Kellen.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Right. So I'm going to grab the linking book for where we're about to go, the beach place.
Yeah,
I'm gonna grab an office book. And I'm going to grab, my journal, my other stuff. Like my standard, like maintainer stuff, my maintainer checklist, I'll throw it in the satchel and be ready to go.
Yep.
And
Any special requests before we link through?
So I'm going to bring in my first lockbox.
Okay.
That we tested. And tropical beach. I don't know what kind of equipment I could bring from my lab for that.
Quab cages.
How a metal detector? Maybe that's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I like it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. A small handheld device that is able to detect metallic objects through Earth at a short distance.
Sounds good. We'll consider that an aspect you're carrying around. Okie doke.
Yeah, I can claim I have a luxury item, but I have no idea what to take myself.
I know. What do you guys? I mean, you guys can discuss that. What
umbrella?
Is there any other ideas, guys? Because I can claim I have a luxury item or tool, like
the
one
fanciest of umbrellas.
Margarita machine? Like, we're going to the beach, right?
One with the cooler attached and the blender just sits on top. Yeah.
Do we all have like the right goggles and headgear for being at the beach? Like at least for those who are ethnically Dini, I feel like bright light is not going to be great. Okay.
That would be standard. Yeah. Okay. Standard equipment.
So what was the name of the beach age that we're going to?
Kellen. Kellen, which is different than Kennelin.
Yeah.
Different places. Unrelated.
Okay. All right. So no ideas. Hey guys, so anything I should bring? I'm wondering if we should bring something in case we have an altercation with other Dunny. Like what if we stumble upon them as they're trying to do a cover up?
That's not a bad
Maybe
point.
we should be dressed more casually.
Like what if I brought an actual weapon or something?
Could it hurt? Well, I guess that's the point. It could.
Even just to threaten them with, so that we have time to get out of the way. Like,
Yeah.
That could
Just
I
a
have
reminder
great
that
rapport. Don't screw this up for me.
just a reminder that we try in written games we don't try to solve things with violence. Just even though if you
No.
bring a weapon, just in case.
yeah, no.
For
Like, that
all
wouldn't
the
be her,
listeners
her
out there,
first thing, but it's like,
we're family friendly.
she's worried that they might. If you're
Bring
willing to
some
blow
of your
stuff
edibles.
up and
Yep.
like steal people from other ages, they might be willing to just bury them in an age too. So she'd like some
Honestly,
insurance.
bringing a med kit or some sedatives or something might not be a horrible idea.
Yeah,
Mm.
there you go.
Yeah, you-
Sedatives have come in handy before.
Yeah.
You,
Oh,
you,
no.
you
Not
bring
all the
Yeah, you never
sedatives
know what
are like-
Laundress is gonna do.
Right, you bring the edibles, you pull a ba weep grana weep nitty bong, and then they all fall asleep, and then the problem is solved.
It's true.
Okay, we could go that route if we want.
A great
to
reference,
avoid
by the way.
violence.
Thank you.
Full points for that one.
Maybe some extra rope to tie up launders.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Bring Laundress's leash.
So knowing, so Launders would mention this because he's thinking about it. He's getting paranoid. Like Launders is starting to keep two journals now. One that the Guild of Maintainers can look at, and one that's like actually the real story. So that like, if his journal's ever found, it's the Guild of Maintainers safe one. So he's starting to really think about crazy crap now. He might be wearing a tinfoil hat before too much longer. But we're going on questionable missions.
Hmm.
Maybe we should wear more casual clothing that doesn't just scream, hey, we're from Dunny and here, we're from such and such guild. Like maybe a little bit more incognito.
Ooh, there's an idea. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All
Okie
right.
doke. Are we ready?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okie doke. So you guys, link into Kellen. Lincoln is not particularly, eventful, so it doesn't matter what order or anything like that. Wow, 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 wow. So yeah, you're on a nice tropical beach. It's warm, the wind blows, and there's trees that are sort of palm tree like, but not quite. That wave in the breeze, and the water sparkles blue, that sort of thing. It's just, it's very picturesque, like as if it had been like a garden age that someone wrote. So there's, you're at the beach. It goes into, into an ocean. There's, standard, stereotypical, wood, junglish sort of thing that comes off the beach. And, mountain, kind of like, island mountains, kind of the central island mountains of an island, kind of in the distance. It's very, very quiet, and the waves make sound, and that's about it. And the wind kind of blows a little bit, but otherwise it's very, very, sort of quiet and still.
Hmm.
So
Well, I think we have our new base of operations. Let's just make our home here.
my base of operations is going to
uninhabited.
be right on this beach with a towel.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's just do that.
Evelyn said he couldn't find the books, right?
Okay, do you guys gonna kind of do a standard sort of like orientate yourself once you get in?
That seems
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, when we turn around, is there like you said there's jungle and beach. Is there like a nice shaded spot or any rock outcropping which might like provide a good place to set down our gear?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some nice little shaded spots, that at the edge of the beach,
Okay.
just the perfect sort of place that you want to put a beach chair down and read a book for a long time.
Are there any like trails into the bush that we can see? I mean,
Yeah, there's some trails. They're not really well defined, sort of game
Okay.
trail-ish. There's no evidence of anything being like built here or you know
You have to
modify,
guess
you know,
where they had something.
artificial modification.
Before we trek around too much, do
There
we
you go. You got
see-
a close background there. Yeah.
Nice. Before we check around too much, do we see any footprints that might not belong to our group?
No.
In the sand? No.
Do not.
Okay.
So if we're going to do kind of a standard checkout, everybody we'll do an investigation. Everybody choose the skill that you're going to investigate with. Roll versus a 4, and then we'll start giving people questions that they can use.
All right. I'm going to roll with notice, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
gonna
with me.
roll surveying.
Go for it.
Oh, that's a 3 plus 2 is 5.
Mhm.
Turns out math is pretty consistent.
I'm going to.
And it's just as good at notice here as she was on Unai. She got a -1.
Oh, here.
She's gonna fall
Remember,
into
you don't always have to use
quicksand or
notice
something.
if you have other skills that you can apply.
Not like I don't see how athletics or will or craft or finesse or medicine or experiment could
That's true
possibly.
in this particular case. Yeah.
In this case, I don't see how they could apply.
5.
5. You rolled a 5.
This ate one of my fingers. I love
Yeah,
it.
you say.
That was weird.
Yeah, it's 5.
And what
I
did Alondris get?
Well, so I haven't figured out what I'm looking for yet.
Oh,
I think okay. I know what I'm looking for.
Well, what
I'm
did you
looking
roll?
for.
And what did
I
you
haven't
roll?
rolled anything yet.
Oh, you haven't. Okay.
oh, I thought you
No,
rolled.
am I supposed to roll something already? I've
Yeah,
been trying
we're
to
just
figure out what
gonna
Landris.
choose a general skill for your
Right.
general sort of stuff, and then roll versus a 4.
Okay, so I'm going to use my athletics, which is a +4.
Oh, you're gonna
because
like
what I'm
you're
doing.
gonna. Okay.
Because what I'm doing, I'm not paying attention to what they're doing right now. I'm looking for a place that's like a good, solid distance away, that looks like a great place that can't easily be seen from here, that I can write our linking book to, so that if we link in while there's somebody already here trying to figure out what we were doing, we're out of their like line of sight.
Okay.
So you're not participating in the general investigation.
Correct.
You're specifically doing this other thing.
Yes.
What's Tomei doing?
Oh no.
Not much, apparently. I got a 0, a -1, then +1 for my notice skill. I think she was going to look for kind of the equivalent of like mineable resources, like whether there are, fruits or anything here that people would be collecting and using this age for.
Okay. What'd you roll, Alondris, for your thing?
Well, so my athletics is a +4, and I got a -2, so I got a 2.
Here.
Okay, so Alondris is going a bit far afield. We'll get back to Alondris.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, so both Celia and Mashavan have one question, which they can use at whatever point during the scene. Okay, so Alondris is going kind of far afield. What is Tomei doing besides just looking around? Is she doing anything specific?
I think she's looking. I think she's looking at the plant life. I think she's kind of looking at the edges, surveying the edges of the jungle that you mentioned.
Okay. Yeah. There's nothing that seems it's they're plants. They're not. There's nothing specifically special about them. They're not plants you've seen before. Just because in that sense that ages tend to have all kind of very different looking plants, but nothing that pops out right away. They don't smell weird. They don't. Nothing weird happens when you touch them. That sort of thing. So it seems particularly, just sort of safe.
Either that or she just didn't roll high enough.
What's Kenneth doing?
I got a -1. I'm concerned.
I mean, you could just start setting up
quicksand. Like, oh,
I mean, you could just find a shady place and just start setting stuff up.
Yeah, probably. It's just too hot, too sunny. Which is like.
Mashavan, what you
Well,
up
at least
to?
it's not a desert.
Yeah, exactly.
So Nishavan, like from where the linking point is, he wants to go to the nearest trail into the jungle
Mhm.
and just kind of take a look at that and see if there's anything to notice there, I guess.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, there has, I mean, it looks game trail-ish in the sense that it's not like a formal trail or such. But the thing, that something has gone back and forth between here, several times over a long period of time, sort of thing.
Mhm.
Anything other specific?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Celia?
I think what Celia is doing is beginning to kind of map make the area.
Mhm.
Since that's a pretty good role for a trained surveyor.
There you go.
So she's walking with a small like journal in her hands,
Mhm.
and she's done a quick map sketch of, okay, here's what I can see from here. So here's our Lincoln Point with an X. Here's the curve of the beach and the jungle. And then she's going to keep walking along the line between the beach and the jungle, walk 500 paces, stop, fill in a little detail on the map,
Okay.
walk another 500 paces, stop, fill in a little more, keep turning around to make sure she doesn't want to go out of sight line of the group.
Mhm.
So if she hits a point where she turns around and they're just, a very small speck behind her back on the beach where she can't really see them, she's going to turn around and come back. But it's kind of just okay, how far can I walk along this curve before we hit that point? Am I seeing anything specific to note down? Or is it just, okay, there's jungle here, beach here, Am I starting to see caves? Am I seeing rock formations? Am I seeing a trail?
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Laundress real quick. So you kind of go
I
out.
assume I fell down a hole.
No, you did not fall down a hole. You did find a little bit
Right.
like a kind of a rock outcropping that's pretty big, but that up kind of away from the group where the group is. When you go around the rock, you find that there's actually the remnants of a boat.
Oh heck.
It's a wooden boat, not particularly complex or anything like that. Something obviously made from stuff here, but it's got big holes in the bottom of it. Like it's been
Big holes
broken.
like something ate this? Or
I mean, not something ate it, but yeah, it's definitely not seaworthy any longer.
right, so does it look more like this boat's been abandoned and been eaten away by the waste of time?
No.
Or does it look like something
It looks broken.
it looks like something deliberately or misadventure happened regarding this boat?
Yeah.
And if there's a
Well, we
boat
can't
on-
link here.
Did whoever was on the
So-
boat make it to shore?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
do you
I
see a
guess
body or
that's
something?
I would say so follow up would be like, are there any tracks? Does it look like this has happened recently? Is there like is there any other like sign of what's maybe happened here?
You'll need to make some sort of roll for that.
Go on, Linus.
Oh, my research is terrible. We're gonna try it though. Unless survival? Question mark? I don't think so. We're gonna figure this
You
out.
might be able to use survival for this. Yes, I can see an argument for that.
Okay. Well, so that's just a 2. So
Your total is 2.
my total is 2.
Yeah, I mean, unless the difficulty with this would be a 4. So unless you've got something you can tag.
I mean, not really. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not. I guess again, neurotically cautious when it comes to performing evaluation, so I might be paying closer attention, but not so much with the survival part. That's more relating to, is there stuff that's going to kill us? I guess, yeah. Is there something that killed this boat that could potentially kill us with that journey aspect? But
Oh, you
I
want
don't
to spend a
think
fate
so.
point to see if you?
I'll spend a fate point.
Okay. Okay. Landra spends a fate point. That brings you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the question you're asking from it.
Yes.
This was
Like-
definitely okay. This was definitely not like something that happened as a hazard or due to due to mishap. Someone's destroyed the boat intentionally. So
Definitely
there's
can't link
there's
here.
no imminent danger right now, or nor was it caused by a dangerous situation.
Right. Definitely can't link here. But this is worth there's only one person I know who could actually like maybe look at this and reconstruct what happened. And so I'm gonna kind of shout Mashavan's name. And because Landris doesn't really shout often, it's not the most imposing shout ever. Like it might sound like Landris is in trouble to the untrained ear. He's specifically trying to get Mashavan's attention to get him to come over here.
Okay, so I assume you head over there?
Yeah, I head over there, maybe a little faster than normal due to the maybe slightly panicked sound. I get there and ask, like, are you okay? Do I need to get Kenneth?
He's good. No, but something destroyed the boat. They did it on purpose. We don't want them to destroy us. You're better at this than I am. Have fun.
I guess I'd first like to note that if they have a hatred of boats, we are not boats.
No, but if they destroyed the boat to try and prevent people from discovering what was happening here, one, maybe whatever it is we're actually looking for is that direction. And he points like where the boat was pointed. Or two, maybe they're already watching here nearby too and would like to destroy us for having discovered their attempt to cover this up. Now, I know that didn't happen in Unai, but that's not to say it can't happen here, especially now that Tellin knows what's going on. And likely whoever knows that Tellin was looking into these books knows that somebody was looking at it and probably knows that we were the one who went into Unai. So they're probably watching the other ages more closely. And he's now going on. He gets a little bit of a nosebleed and falls over.
He knows that we know that they know.
No.
Okay, so those of you who are still near the jungle, you notice that all the leaves of the trees and start shaking a little bit, like noticeably. Because I mean, it was kind of like just before, but now they're all like.
Is it
Murder
windy?
trees.
Is it windy?
It's no more windy than it was before, and it's not shaking coming from the wind.
Murder trees.
Yeah, great. Murder rocks, murder trees. Are we feeling like the ground shaking under our feet?
It does. It does. You do feel something.
Oh, that's not good.
Sounds like the trees are the things shaking the ground and not the other way around, maybe.
Maybe we shouldn't be next to the trees. There's a thought. I guess they are shaking like this or they fall over.
Getting some
I don't know. Or, like, why are they shaking all of a sudden?
Okay, Toma puts her hand on one of the trees on
Yeah.
the trunk. Does she feel it like vibrating a lot?
Yeah, you can start to feel the vibration a bit. It's sort of building.
In
Oh,
which
no.
case, Kenneth's torn between wanting to see if it's coming from the root of the tree or, oh, hey, I have an idea. She puts a plate down and puts a stone on it to see if the energy is transferring the same way into the stone as it is through the trees.
Yep.
So that we know if it's the trees or if it's the ground.
It's definitely the ground.
Okay.
And you're actually starting to be able to feel a little bit more. The people who are on the sand don't feel it as much. don't really feel it, but the people who are on more solid ground begin to feel it shaking a little bit more and a bit more and a bit
Did someone
more.
open the starfisher?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Is this an earthquake? Like, this
So
is
can we feel it over by the boat?
You start to notice something's happening. Yeah, the water gets a little more erratic. The waves get a little, and you start to hear the low rumble.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah, as people who
Where's
live
the danger
underground,
coming
you are
from?
familiar with what this sensation is.
Like, where's the danger coming from is the thing. It's like, is it going to be a tsunami or is it coming from the island that we're on?
Yeah, that's quite.
So
So
kind of, I would like to know, like, I look at I guess I'd look at the water to see if the water's receding, because then I'd know if it was going to be coming or
the
if we
water is
should
not
be,
receding, so it's not
like,
tsunami-ish.
so maybe we
Okay.
should be heading towards the water then, in
What does
case the trees fall down.
You can definitely hear, it's definitely moving into earthquake territory.
All right. I think this is a good time to get everybody back together away from the trees.
And
Yeah.
maybe we should make sure that we all get to Laundress because he's got the linking book, huh?
Ah!
Yeah.
Tackle him. I
So
just
it-
thought.
we're over by a boat? For all you know,
Yeah.
I got eaten by a tree.
So Liam
So
is
Liam, are you
probably the-
walking in the same direction as Laundress, or do we need to yell and get you to come back and then we can all three of
That's
us
actually a good question because I had just said that I had started walking, but I don't think I specified in which direction. It was not specified in which direction Landris and I were going, just that we were both going farther afield.
Mhm.
Because we
I
might
mean,
have
you
to
guys
try
can
to-
end up in the same place. That's no
Yeah,
problem.
let's say that we were heading in the same direction to make this
Okay.
easier.
It's
So
like,
yeah,
we should get to the people who have the linking books. Like,
Celia decides to start running towards Landris.
Okay, everybody, it's time to make some athletic rolls as the earthquake goes into full swing.
oh dear.
Yeah.
So make an athletic roll versus a 5.
Well,
5.
I got a 4.
I got a
Yeah.
3. And I'm good at athletics. Sheesh.
I got a 1. At least it's a positive one.
Guys, don't hate me.
What Tommy get?
4.
A 4? Okay, so anybody make a 5. Make 5.
Oh,
Okay, y'all fall
got-
over.
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shaking like crazy.
No,
You hear the telltale sound of rock breaking.
Okay.
It's like
look at the cliff that we're next to.
it's somewhat in the distance, kind of towards the other. If you were to point kind of back towards the island, that's where you're hearing it from. But you hear the sound of rock breaking. All the telltale sounds of something big falling apart in the middle of an earthquake.
So is it like the direction the boat's pointing?
The point's kind of kind of cattywampus, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But it is more towards the direction that you were heading, Laundress, than the other direction.
Okay.
But it still is a little bit in towards the island, so it's something that it's happening somewhere where you can't see directly.
Awesome.
So just
Either it's natural or they or somebody set up a bigger explosion because they didn't do a good enough job on Unai.
So after let's say for an earthquake is a relatively long period of time, but it's still it all comes down. The trees are still kind of like but it's definitely the shock has gone past.
Okay.
So there's a the waves are all frothy from being shook and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah.
So I sit up and look at Laundress and say, I think the fate of the boat is the least of our problems.
Yeah.
See, and here I was about to have Landris like sit up and like look at Mashav and say, "You're not fixing the boat. We're not going to figure out what happened there. We're not going to figure out what the sound was." And now he's like, well, yeah, but that could have been somebody trying to destroy stuff before we find it, which means they might know we're here, which means they might be coming for us next. Oh God. He's just like, oh crap. He's trying to figure out, like, do we need to get out of here now? Do we have time to like finish writing this linking book? Do we have time to find a place to use as a good linking point where they couldn't find us? Are they going to make this island sink under the ocean? You know, like.
This is
So
not
while
Memphis.
Landris is thinking all those things, what are you guys doing? What are the rest of
Yeah.
you doing?
Does Dalia have any sort of like surveying equipment that could detect tectonic activity? Do you have anything like that?
I'm trying to think of what's portable that detects tectonic activity. I mean, I feel like those exist IRL for like earthquake
Yeah.
measurements. I know that like
Do
for
you have any of the stunts that says
Seismograph.
you have stuff? I forget.
yeah, I have the stunt that lets me have stuff.
Yeah, you could. The Disney would totally have something for that.
Yeah, it's a seismograph. Like it's
Yeah.
probably like standard Dunny equipment
Yeah.
101. Like you live in a
knew we had-
cavern.
I guess what I mean is I knew we had big seismographs, but I didn't know if you
Yeah.
had person
Small.
carryable.
Usually they're like,
Yeah.
I think the
They're-
Disney
Just
would
a
have.
little box like that.
I think the Disney would have figured out something that they could
Portable.
use for that, something portable, and especially. And I think that would definitely fall under you. Under your I have stuff rule.
Cool.
Mm.
Take a fate point. I will
yay.
set down my seismograph.
If you had a key, it would probably be an app, but we only have D's. So
Yeah, exactly.
There's an app for that.
Okie doke.
What do you
Okie doke.
call a key nap?
So
Like
you put it down. You get it set up quickly, and it definitely is. It's showing a downturn of seismic activity. But there's still a bit of underlying seismic shaking that's going on, even though it's died off. Like there's still shaking happening. It's just really low.
okay, so like on the level of you can't feel it, but it's there.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to stand really still on someplace, solid, it might, shake trees, leaves a little bit, sort of thing. If you put like a cup of water down, like Jurassic Park, it would go.
Yeah.
It would have the little waves in it.
Hmm.
Or it's the
This
kind of
age is this age
but-
unstable, right?
it's the kind of activity that makes you feel just a little bit off as you walk down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, what's Kenneth doing?
That's a really good question because part of it is self-preservation. Is this age collapsing? Like, is it an unstable age?
Mhm.
The other part is like, cool. Let's go check it out. And now that she's arrived with where Landris and Chauvin are, she can see the boat too. And it's like, well, if the boat came here, it had to come from somewhere. Or
That's true.
what are the chances, like, if we can figure that out? I mean, it's a whole age, right? So
Uh-huh.
how would we decide where to go?
That's a good question.
I would like to investigate the giant cracking down the way because that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I remember that both Celia and Mashavin still have questions from their survey of the area that
Yeah.
they can still kind of use to kind of, get some information. If they go too much further afield, those questions may not be as valid as they were, but you
Okay.
still have them.
Okay.
Is there anything
So-
that either of you would want to know about the situation?
I think
Can I
something-
tell if from rocks or from the jungle, can I tell if this is a repeated event? That if the earthquake has happened multiple times
Recently, yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I tell Landros, keep that our linking book maybe a little loose in your at the top of your satchel in case we need to evacuate quickly. But it wasn't that bad. We're probably fine.
We do need to find something for Master Devlin. We can't
Yeah.
just go, oh, we went there and the ground shook and we left like a bunch of weenies.
Do you have any questions? Anything you want to use your last question for, Celia?
I was actually gonna say, I don't know if this is gonna use my question or not, but one thing she's gonna do is she did the seismograph measuring from where she fell.
Mhm.
Can I get up and walk back to the Lincoln point first? And do a quick seismographic measuring over there?
No
Just
change.
to see. No change, okay. I was gonna say rough triangulation.
Yeah. Oh, rough
Mm.
triangulation.
Right, because I figured
That
she
you
gets
used
it
a
from
question
where
for,
she
yeah.
fell, from there, and then if she walk, and then from there I was gonna walk a set number of paces up into the jungle
Awesome.
to try to see, is it stronger into the jungle as opposed to here on the beach?
You can definitely use those to triangulate.
Yeah.
It's you would
Stronger.
guess that it is centered probably it's centered, sort of, if you went around the beach a bit further,
Mhm.
and then you would be very surprised if it's centered on the island. It's something out in the out past
Okay.
the island based off the curve, but it's something, and it's not a place you could see. You would have to go around the
Okay.
around the island to curve.
So she's gonna tell people this,
Yeah.
by the way.
Mhm.
So hey guys, just based off this, it looks like whatever's going on, it's out past the island's curve.
Yeah, we should go check it out before it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Before the entire world falls apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are going around the edge of the island, following the beach around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a short aftershock, but nothing that keeps you knocks you off your feet or so as you're doing around. But you can see that as you go around, there is another island. I mean, if there's another island, you could probably swim to it if you wanted to, but it's got another one of those sort of central peaks. But that central, there are little what will look like sort of flashes or sparkles coming from that mountain, like bursts of energy, and you don't know if it's reflected light or light or whatever. But and as another aftershock comes through, they go off a lot more. They are connected to the shaking.
Okay.
Hmm.
So here's where I want to do something, use a different unwritten mechanic. It's called deduction, and this is where you guys get to kind of help me, fill in some details. So what we're gonna do is everybody who wants to be involved is gonna choose a skill and roll dice. And so what happens is you just give me your ultimate your general result of your skill plus dice and we're going to be looking at the question, what the heck is going on here?
Mhm.
That's our question. So everybody choose a skill that they're going to be thinking about, and if you have a skill that you think that you can apply, I'm willing to listen to your argument. So you don't have to go like, I only have a low notice. So be creative. And go ahead and roll your dice, and then tell me your skill and your ultimate, result.
Engineering. because as a Denis, we have to design
Mhm.
things to handle earthquakes and rock movement and all of that. So
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. What? No, you're gonna roll. Okay. Everybody.
That is a total of 5.
Okay. So Mashavan at 5. Tome, what are you doing and what'd you roll?
I think I'm going to roll for athletics since I do want to use one of my stronger skills. And,
Mhm.
you know, there's there's like a mountain with sparks coming from it, right? So I think that Tome is going to try to feel things out, get a better vantage.
Yeah, I mean, there's things happening to the ground under you that you're trying to adjust to, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so that is a 4.
4, okay. Kenneth.
Kenneth is also using athletics. Was tempted to see if she might want to go over to that island and see if there's currently, like, just swim over, because she wants to know if there's currently Dunny there that are making this happen, or if this is just a thing. So she wants to see if there's like tracks or a boat over there.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go with something like that. Yeah. Let's go
I got
for
a
a roll.
5.
You got a
I got
5?
a 5. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Celia, what'd you get? What skill and what'd you get?
Surveying, got a 6. Dice
Nice.
actually liked me this
Like a lot.
roll.
Yay.
And Laundress, skill and what'd you get?
Well, if you could see the
Yeah, not a very good
on
roll
my
there.
little camera. So
That's
I put I was gonna use athletics to kind of like swim a little over to the island to see if there was any signs of people trying to like destroy stuff like they did in Unai.
Mhm.
But I think Landris, maybe because he got a 1,
My ground.
actually just got brushed by some kind of aquatic life form and crapped himself swimming back to shore.
Okay, so Celia got the highest. So for the this is done in multiple rounds. For this round, Celia, you get to state a fact about the situation, and it is true.
Ooh.
And so it is up to you to decide what that fact is.
Damn, see, I thought this was going to be asking a question.
Nope. You get to state a fact about what's happening. In fact, let me see if I can shift this over without making a mess. Technical issues, of course.
Nice. Okay.
And
You get to declare something to be true. Wow.
Yeah, you declare, and just a single sentence or phrase, something is true about the situation.
I've got one.
Uh-huh.
The sparks are natural. I know it sounded like some of you wanted them to be artificial activity, but
no, this is awesome.
I think it would be cool if they were a natural phenomenon. So they're natural.
Kind of was thinking that would be awesome.
I suddenly can't remember how to spell phenomenon.
O-N.
Okay.
Although phenomenon does sound like a delicious snack.
Phenomenon.
Do.
Okay, so now we get to do it again. You can choose a different skill if you like, but it's the same process.
Okay.
Wait, all of us?
All of everybody.
I was going to say, does the next person get to declare a fact, or?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends who wins. We're going to go through 3 rounds.
I decided to use will.
Sure.
And I got a 3.
Uh-huh.
So.
Tome, what'd you get?
3 again.
3?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Laundress?
I was gonna go with survival, but I got a 2. So.
Uh-huh. Mashavan?
I used notice and got a 3.
Uh-huh. Celia?
Experiment, and I got a 1.
Oh, okay. So we got a 3-way tiebreaker here.
Hmm.
So the 3 of you get to decide to do consensus work on deciding what the second fact is.
And is this should be kind of consistent with the skills that we're using to
Generally
engage
so,
with the
yeah.
world?
But as a guide, not as a restriction. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Hmm.
Just a fact about the situation. It could be about the mountain, could be about the island, could be something that we didn't even realize was connected to the situation.
What if the
Kenneth, what did
island
you-
was coming closer?
Say again?
What if the island was coming closer?
It's exciting.
Like the island's moving.
Wow, that's a cool one.
Are these just giant turtles?
I was gonna say like it's
Right?
the island is itself a work.
I was
So
I wasn't even thinking about it being a living thing, but I was just like, what if it appears, like, even if it just appears that it's approaching, that would be interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think I like it.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
So the island is moving.
The far island is getting closer, or just that it appears that the islands are getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One more round, same thing. You can choose different skills if you like.
Someone help me come up with a fact.
Okay. I did craft, or because I want to like the boat,
Mm-hmm.
the crafting of the boat, the ability to make things from the stuff in this age, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And my total is a 5.
5?
Yeah.
Hey, Laundress, what'd you get?
I did athletics again, and I got a 4.
Kenneth?
I did will again, and I got a 6.
Huh.
Yeah.
Tome.
I did athletics again, and this time I only got a 2.
And Celia.
I want everyone to see my amazing roll of 8.
Oh, wow.
Look at my screenshot from DiceBot. Look at that screenshot from DiceBot loving me. There's the -2 from the previous roll below it because it tracks my rolls. And then
Nice.
there's the 8.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
Anyway,
Nice.
Okay, so
I
you
Sophia
definitely
gets
win
4.
that round. The
Of 8.
third
Yeah,
round,
handily.
you get to declare the third fact.
Oh.
I have an additional fact because I already put my favorite fact in.
You can discuss things with others as you like, but the ultimate decision is yours.
Okay, so we can all discuss if that would
Yeah,
help
I will
you,
take
and then you can just
that.
pick one or a permutation of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the sparks are natural. The
Uh-huh.
islands are getting closer. The sparks are going off in line with the tremors.
Mm-hmm.
That's already established, yeah.
Yep, these are all adding up to some interesting promises.
But remember, this is a single fact. We're not to the conclusion yet.
Okay, single
But I'm
fact.
trying to think of a cool fact that relates to these.
Okay, it was weird that it was super quiet, right? So that means
Yeah.
there were trails, but like the animal life. So there's animal life on the island, where we are, but they weren't making any noise, and there were no birds, which
Well,
strikes me as odd.
Not even
Well,
any
life-
insect sounds.
I'll say
Mhm.
wildlife always like goes still right before an earthquake too. That's just like
Oh,
in
okay.
the real
Good
world
point.
too.
Good
So
point.
Does it?
Okay.
I
It
have
often
actually
does,
happens,
never,
yes.
Yeah.
I have
that
never
makes
lived through an
sense.
earthquake.
Yeah, I live in like the least likely place in the planet to have an earthquake.
So,
I've lived through wildfires, I've lived through hurricanes, and I've lived through tornadoes, but never an earthquake.
I lived in
So-
Southern California. I grew up there.
I am
Just a
from
minute.
California, and yeah, it does go quiet, and the birds leave, and then it's very quiet, and then the ground shakes.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Where I'm at-
One more fact.
One more fact. Okay. Sparks
I
are
mean, that
natural.
could. I guess that could be a fact in its own right. There are no animals.
Or like if they're
Ooh.
it's like
What if-
people appear on one of the islands running for their lives.
Oh.
Screaming and waving
See,
their arms for help.
So if we had gone down to like it was man-made and not a natural phenomenon, I was totally gonna have it be like one of the people who was like trying to destroy something didn't get out of the explosion in time.
Ooh.
But we didn't go that route.
No.
Yeah.
We can still say that there's something artificial.
Wonder what are the effects of the sparks? Maybe that would be something to
That's a
state
good idea.
as fact. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
sparks are natural phenomena. Are they destructive? Are they constructive?
What
Are
if they
benign?
react to the ink in the linking book page, just slowly pulling it off?
That's terrifying.
I don't think that was a fact. It could make things very bad. Did you already determine when the relationship of the sparks to the shocks was? Like, did the sparks go off before the shock or at the exact same time?
At the same time. That was
At
already
the same
established, yeah.
time.
I'm also curious whether these sparks are like fire sparks or electrical sparks.
You could be declare a fact that says what the source of the sparks
Yeah.
are, or another thing about the sparks.
Upon closer inspection, they're actually vampires flying through the air, sparkling in the sunshine. Sorry. Sorry.
So just
I
like
mean,
it doesn't have to lead to anything particular, just a fact that you think is interesting.
yeah.
Honestly, when you said sparkles, I thought in my brain that they were blue.
Yeah, actually, when you said sparkles, I was picturing rainbow sparkles, to be completely honest.
Sure.
We could
I
declare
was
that.
picturing, I was picturing the same kind of like weird craziness that we saw with the Unai rocks, and maybe having them smell like sulfur. Tie back to that.
It's like rainbows,
Yeah,
and they smell like
as opposed to like boring, just plain old like
Yeah.
white sparkling, or as opposed to like what you'd expect with lava with the red and gold sparkles. I've got an idea. I've got one.
Perfect.
If people are like this
Yep.
one, you know, with Beatrice and Rhyme and the sparks that we use when we're triggering the Aurora and Rhyme.
Mm.
You know, we're playing with the machinery,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and it triggers the sparks jumping between the thing we're playing with, and then the electrical stuff happens.
Mhm.
So yeah, maybe the sparks are a natural phenomenon. The odds are getting closer, and the sparks have a weather effect.
ooh, the sparks have a weather effect.
Do you
I
want to
like it.
specify the weather effect, or just that they are starting to have an effect of some sort?
They're having an effect of some sort because I want the GM to have fun with us.
Okay. So there is one more round to this then. And this one is you don't actually add to a skill. You just roll straight die roll.
Yeah, it would have been that ridiculous +4.
Oh, Zippo.
I got -1.
0.
Positive one.
-1.
Shavin, the winner with
Ooh.
1.
What'd you get, Q?
I got 0.
Okay. And Celia?
0.
Okay. So the question is, what's going on? And these are the 3 facts. The sparks are natural phenomena. The islands appear to be coming close to us. The sparks have a weather effect. And because you won the roll, Mashavin, you get to answer the question. What is going on here?
You're welcome.
Oh boy.
That's what I want.
Do you want to discuss again and then try to pick something? Do you want help?
Give me like 30 seconds and I'll come up with something.
No problem.
No.
But yeah,
Um,
so while you're
That's
thinking,
awesome.
I can just say to people who don't, who are watching, who aren't familiar with Unwritten, this is called deduction. It's a mechanic stolen from a different Fate game with permission. It's from Atomic Robo, the Atomic Robo role-playing game, where it's called a brainstorm. Atomic Robo essentially is like, you know how Indiana Jones is a archaeologist? Well, everybody in Atomic Robo is a scientist, or specifically an action scientist. So I borrowed this so that it's a way for players to affect the direction of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm gonna say that the sparks are a natural phenomenon, and they are attracted, like what is causing the sparks is attracted to something in our current island, and that is bringing them closer, kind of pulling, like tectonics, but natural pulling together of the islands. And since the islands are so close together, the effect is so strong that it's having the weather effect.
Oh, okay. So there's the sparks is some sort of electromagnetic phenomena that's causing an immense attraction between the two islands. Maybe the two islands are full of a particular type of highly magnetic lodestone or something like that, and it's causing them to pull together, causing the earthquake, and it's causing ionization in the air. That's causing the winds are going to start whipping around, and
Yes, that sort of thing.
And water begins to accumulate, quickly, and all kinds of weird stuff.
Like, it's gonna hail on us, isn't it?
Well,
lightning.
as they get closer, it gets even stronger. So this will become an exciting place over the next few days.
Oh, and she swam across to the other island. That was dumb.
Oh.
Crap. Way to go, Kenneth. Told her it was a bad idea.
Swam through like a very localized lightning storm.
Yeah.
Perfect conditions for swimming.
Well, yeah. Now how's she gonna get back if it wasn't lightning till she got over? And then now that the islands are closer.
I'll just wait a few days and then they'll be right next to each other.
Yeah. She's gonna. She can't.
Landris only at this point. Landris only at this moment realizes you're on that other island on the other side of the lightning storm. It's just like, oh.
Well, you're actually. I mean, you could have gone into the water a little bit just as your thing, but you don't have to necessarily be, stuck on the other island or anything like that.
Okay, good. Because that would be difficult.
Okay, it starts shaking again, and the sparks start going off even more so. And you can feel the ozone in the air. You can taste it. It's like the static electricity is starting to catch up, and you're like the hairs on your arm are starting to stand up.
Oh no!
We should probably get under the outcrop so we don't get struck by lightning.
That seems wise.
Yeah.
Especially considering the amount of metal stuff that Mashavan's carrying.
Yep.
So can we find a quick, not specifically, can we find maybe a cave or something else that that would also maybe serve as a good link in point in the future?
Yeah.
Is anything like that nearby?
Okay.
If you spend a fate point, there will be.
I'll spend that fate point.
Okie doke.
Man.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you go, you'll have to go a little bit more inland, but you find, a cave area. It's sort of
Perfect.
dug up. It kind of happened. It's kind of it's ringed by. It's like there's a big tree, and then it goes under the tree.
Okay.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Looks like a great place to link in the future.
Yeah. There's still a lot of shaking. You guys dive into the cave, and there's something actually in the back of the cave. It's not huge. It's enough to maybe it's enough to maybe hold 6 or 7 people total.
Okay.
It's not like a huge cave, but in the back there's a bunch of devices.
Do we
Oh crap! I
recognize
can't put the linking book here.
them? Are they Dunny?
They are Denny devices. There's you know, there's wires and stuff like that, and they're all occasionally they spark, and it definitely smells more of ozone in here.
Is this what's causing the
So-
islands to attract to one another?
Leah's gonna put the seismographer down on the ground and watch the tremor patterns and see if the tremor patterns tie in with the sparking.
Oh, the different patterns. Okay, well, no. No, they are not. The sparking seems to be more environmental. Just the amount of electricity in the air, sort of thing.
So the electricity in the air is pissing off the machines.
Yes.
Should we attempt to disconnect said machines? Are
Oh,
they
wait.
all attached to one another? Or
There's a couple different machines, and they're attached to power sources and such. But
So
Like we definitely want to insulate them somehow.
Yes, definitely want to do
yeah, don't touch it, Janet. Don't.
sooner rather than later.
this is clearly going to lead to another secret door with another secret age behind it. Mashavin, go.
Let's see. What would not light on fire due to electricity?
Leather.
Yeah,
You're an engineer. You probably got sturdy leather gloves for dealing with anything.
that was my thought too. It's definitely something to bring. But before I touch anything, I wanted to see can I just really roughly, what do these things do?
I'll have.
Can I make an engineering roll?
Yeah, make an engineering roll. If other people want to make rolls to to get some questions on the environment or to have for the scene, please do so. Let's go ahead and do that.
Oh, that's bad. That's a 0 actually. So that's a 4 total for the engineering check.
Yeah, this is difficulty of 4, so you have a single question. It's a yes or no question. And do other people want to make rolls for just trying to figure things out? As like an investigation scene?
Thinking I should roll craft to see if I can maybe find something in the nearby environment that we could use to not get shocked. Like if, I don't know.
Roll
more
a
than
craft
just a
and
pair of
we'll
gloves.
give you questions and such. Tomei, what do you think? You got anything?
I don't know. I'm still puzzling over it. I guess I'm half tempted to see if we can just link out really quickly and bring this stuff back with us.
That's what I was thinking about too. Like,
So
But
maybe
if
I guess
active.
could I guess I
Yes,
could do
let's give away that we're still investigating this.
But well, I mean, so what's your thought, Tomei? Let's walk through this.
I'm wondering how portable this machinery seems to be. I mean, given that it's sparking, maybe there isn't really a safe way for us to get near it. But if we were to be able to pick it up, could we link it out with us?
If you were able to hold it safely, then you could probably take each of you could probably take 1 or 2 things of the things. There's like 3 or 4 of them. You could heft it and then go with you, but it is sparking.
If we could get those sparks out, we can take them with us, which might be good because if those islands hit and things get worse, it's not going to be safe here for us.
So, quick question: is anybody else going to make rolls for questions?
I mean, I had a 6 for that craft roll, so.
Okay, so you get two questions. Celia or Anders, are you going to make any rolls for questions?
Yeah, let me make one real quick.
So I have my question.
Okay, go for it.
Are the devices familiar to me?
Yes. In fact, you could, since it's a question, yes, they are. So it was yes or no question because it was a tie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
These are familiar to you, and you could figure them out with time. No problem.
With time and not being shocked.
Yes. Celia, were you making any rolls or on questions or such?
Nah.
Okay.
So
Can I actually make a survival roll to see how dangerous the sparking seems to be?
Yeah, this is definitely a survival
That's a good
situation.
one.
Okay. So I got a 1.
Total?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay. So,
Okay.
but
Oh.
Kenneth, you have 2 questions.
Okay. Can these devices, can we figure out a way to, even if I craft or like find a good stick to disconnect these devices from their power source and thereby maybe stop this sparking?
You don't know if it'll stop sparking, but you could easily, with the things that you have on hand, you could easily put together something that would hold one of these. Wrap a strap around it, that sort of thing. That you could move it around or move it, or hold it safely, even if it was sparking. If you
Okay.
as long as you don't like hold it against your body,
Okay. So I could do that. Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Any other questions, or we'll go back to see what people are doing?
Doing, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know
So,
what else to ask
okay.
right now.
Celia, is Celia doing anything?
I was gonna wait and see what other people came up with, and then have her follow other people's directions.
Sure.
So, like, if Kenneth or Mashavan
Yeah.
came up with a good plan for moving some of the devices, then Celia would be happy to do the like hop do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
An extra piece of equipment. Like if I can figure out a way, like you said, I could figure out a way to transport them, then having an extra pair of hands would make more of them. So we could
Mhm.
transfer more pieces. And I do have expert at making rock soup as
Yeah.
aspect. So I should be able to jerry rig something that would be helpful.
Sure.
Right. And
So-
I have a very low craft of buffs one, but maybe that would still be enough to do an assist.
Sure. So it sounds like Mashavan and Kenneth, you are the ones directing traffic now.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, did you have a question, Landris?
Well, yeah. I don't think he actually gets it because he was gonna do like notice to see if it was at all hooked up like the stuff in Unai was, but he got a -1.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay, yeah.
or excuse me, just a 1. He got a 1. Excuse me. Never
It
mind.
happens. So okay, Kenneth, Mashavan, you're in charge. What's going on?
Okay. So I'm going to use my stunt. Something from nothing. So I'm going to spend my last fate point for this session to create the aspect jury rigged materials with a free invoke,
There we go.
which I will pass to Kenneth to make something if she would like.
Great. Yeah. I think we can make several of these and like tell me that was a great idea to get out of here.
Mhm.
So if I can get everybody's assistance, Celia and everybody,
Well-
I have an idea in my brain of
Yeah.
how this should be designed.
Mhm.
If we all work on one, we
Yeah.
should all be able to complete one.
Sounds great.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Now make a craft roll to actually construct the thing.
Another craft roll?
Yeah, to
You
actually
got
do the construction. And it's mostly to
Wow.
see if things go, if there's you do
5.
particularly well or not, essentially.
I got 5.
Okay. So yeah, no problems at all.
Great.
So,
It's like paint
and
night, but with like sparking things.
Go
Yeah.
ahead and use the invoke and add +2.
Oh, good
when
idea.
you get to excel.
Yeah, let's do that.
See, that's a very good strategy. Just mechanically
You're very
speaking.
smart. So let's do a 7. That'll be 7. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you've got these things.
so
So you're gonna these things are all well secured, and it actually stops sparking.
Oh, great.
So there's enough insulation.
Yes.
So the situation isn't suddenly very dire. The shaking continues, so it could become dire quickly, but it is not immediately dire.
so
So we
not-
might have
not-
time.
Landris, what do you say?
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rogers.
I was like, so not to be the stick in the mud, as Landris tends to be, but he's gonna just like so we're boxing all this up to take this back to the office where we know Talon is going to be in the morning. We don't know what the sparks do. We don't know what they'll do when they get to Dunny. And Talon's gonna be in there, and God forbid, or Yavo forbid, something
It
terrible
starts
happen
working.
in the morning when Talon is there. and the sparks do something in the building, how do we prevent that from happening?
I'm
Maybe
sure
Devlin
we'll-
will have our house ready.
That's a good idea. Maybe.
Well, he was very what's the word?
Iffy. When that would happen.
He was very let's tiptoe around the problem when it came to getting us something quickly. He seemed to infer that it would be at least a few days before we had anything to go off of.
Well, I'm no engineer, but I don't think these devices are going to continue sparking once they've been disconnected and removed from this weird
The situation with all the
electromagnetic.
ozone.
Yeah.
That does seem
Mhm.
likely.
Yeah.
It is starting. The shaking is starting to intensify.
All right. I think discretion is the better part of caution here. But deal with the immediate problem before we deal with the future problem.
We can always hide them on the roof. It's not like he's
Yep.
gonna climb the ladder.
Or I can just say it's something I'm tinkering with.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, let's get
If
them
it's
back
something
and
you
figure out.
recognize, if it's Dunny, you can just say you made it.
So
Let's get them
okay.
back and figure out where to hide them later.
Quick
So
question.
out of character quandary.
Hmm?
When it comes to linking books here, are we going with the when you're looking at it, you can kind of see what's happening on the other side of the panel, or it's the more static image? So if I write the linking book here while facing where these devices
Oh,
were,
no.
can I keep an eye on this place to see when the people who put these devices here inevitably come back and see them through the linking panel?
You
Didn't
can
we
see
see
a bit what's happening through the leaking panels. Yes.
Because we saw people around the campfire, so
Yeah.
that
Okay.
means that we've already determined that.
So yes. So if you write
Okay,
really quickly,
perfect. So I'm gonna sit here and was like, well, crap. I'm gonna do the finishing of the linking book because they're all doing their thing, and clearly we're gonna take these things back. And
Yeah.
oh god, I don't know how that's gonna go. But Laundress is gonna finish the linking book for here, and then start making the fire to inevitably burn yet another linking book as we
don't
leave.
have to because we have the box, right?
Yep.
Okay, you think we put the box here, and these people come back for their devices like,
Oh.
oh, what's this weird box? Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
good one.
I can start a fire.
I mean,
got a
you could
better-
hide the box elsewhere outside the cave really quickly.
It's about to earthquake.
No, that's true, but yeah.
Laundress isn't gonna let anybody go out in that crap right now. Come on.
Hi.
Well, and we might not be able to find it. Like, part of me wishes that we wrote the rest of the linking book at the Lincoln point. Though I guess the book is still there, so we can keep an eye on. Because we should know if the islands actually do crash.
I've
That
got,
would be good.
That would be good to know.
got an idea.
Go ahead.
Belia is like, okay, first off, if we don't want to start a fire in the cave along with the missing items, which people are going to notice if they're missing anyway, there's water out there. The last person to link could link out over the water where the water would ruin the book. So
But
that
if there's an electrical storm, you might
Yeah,
get
it's-
electrocuted.
it's dangerous, but it's also going to ruin the book.
Landers will do it.
Two,
Right.
You could probably do it safely. No, yeah.
Okay.
Landers will give somebody else the new Kellen linking book and hold out the other one. Just like, I guess we're doing this. Ready for people to do their thing.
yeah, I was going to go with two. There are other options for hiding it. Like, we know that earthquakes are happening, right? And we're inside this rock shelter, but the earthquakes are still happening. And they might be shaking some of the rocks, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
It's like right outside us.
Yeah.
So couldn't we dig a hole, put rocks over the
Mhm.
hole so that
It would look natural.
like the rocks would fall?
Yes, but if there's an earthquake and it opens up and then we lose the linking book forever and we just assume there's one here because our little rock pile got eaten by an earthquake, we'd be in a bad spot.
Well, you always bring it back up, but
Right, but I mean, I was assuming as opposed to, are we going for a guaranteed destruction of the book? In which case, either lighting it on fire or destroying it in the
In the
ocean
water, yeah.
I guess
is
the question is,
guaranteed, or
Landry-
trying to
there-
hide
yeah.
it to maybe come
are you
after
do you want to leave a book behind with the contraption with the idea that possibly it might be either become inaccessible or might be found, or do you want to destroy the book on the way out?
I
Either
feel
way,
like
just
destroying it's
Let-
a good idea so that no one
Yeah.
knows for sure that it was us. Because
Right.
if they find the book, they come right into our inner sanctum.
Yep.
Devlin's giving us more blank books. We can destroy another.
What's one more book? They're like, boy, these guys go through a lot of ink.
So in that case, it comes down to fire or water as the destruction methods.
well, Landra
Oh,
said he
so-
was ready to do the water thing,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Landris is gonna go do the water thing. He's just waiting for everybody to link through.
Okay.
Okay.
But Leah does offer to do it herself.
Aw.
He's the maintainer. He's in charge of everybody's safety. It's the one thing he has left in this world right now. He's gonna do it.
let me
Alright.
do my job.
All right. Well,
Cool.
I link through, I guess.
Hi.
Yep.
Wow, 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 wow. So yeah, everybody links through. Landris does his, run outside. Wind is blowing.
Oh, he was gonna do something else before that, but
Oh, okay.
Oh.
What's he gonna do?
well, so he's gonna take a look at this island that's coming towards us, and he's gonna remember how he failed to swim across it. But he wants to maybe how far away is this? How long of a swim is it?
I mean, the water is getting pretty dangerous. So,
So what the heck?
it would be a significant risk to try to do that.
What are you thinking?
So this okay, well that's not gonna work. Okay,
Fair.
so how choppy is the water?
What is it you're trying to accomplish?
Well, he was gonna try and get to the island and see if there was anything there before linking out, but because moving island does sound really cool, and he's fully expecting that somebody's just like written out lines in this book, and this age is like destroying itself as they're standing in it, because he understands a little bit about how that works, and so they might not ever get a chance to come back to this age, and so that's why he's not as concerned about destroying the book at this precise moment, and maybe learning just a titch more because he's still here, and but if he's gonna die, he doesn't want to die,
Yeah, I think this. I mean, to getting it over there, there's no
Yeah.
way to
So he's
make sure you're going to be safe there.
Yep. So he's gonna wade into the choppy water and try, and I'm sure I'll have to do an athletics for this, because he's gonna try and get like a good 100 feet out and try and just dive down as close to the bottom as he can before hitting the link, so that it can be as close to the bottom and the chop isn't gonna bring the book back in.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for that. We'll just make you get taken care of, and you go and go through.
Perfect. And
So-
Landris comes back soaking wet.
Yes. So, and we are a bit past 4 o'clock Pacific time. So I'm figuring this is wind down time for the session.
Oh yeah.
Seems good.
Cool.
Oh yeah. We'll come back next time and Talon will ream us a new one, I'm sure. As he always does.
Yep.
So
Any last comments or anything as we begin to wind down the session?
I do love the idea of lenders just appearing in our basement, in a swimming position, just totally saturated with water, and just
Oh, yeah.
flopping onto the floor.
yep.
Like a fish.
Landris flops around like a fish for just a few minutes,
Yeah,
for a few seconds. Oh God!
I love it. That's
The whole age flooded, guys. I don't know what happened.
Cool.
well, that's exciting.
Yes. Very
Oh.
fun.
Yeah. Oh
So-
yeah. I like this one. This one's fun too.
Yeah.
I
So
guess we got to that age in the nick of time.
Right?
So the next session is going to be May 1st, because we're back to our normal schedule of the first Saturday.
Oh, good.
I am getting my vaccine shot that morning. My second.
Yay!
So I may be a little out of it.
Yeah.
Which may either be sort of a weird session or a really cool one. We're not sure yet.
guys, Talon's gonna be in a good mood.
Talon's gonna be really drunk. Yeah, sure. Yeah, take a couple
Here's
books.
your book. Great.
Been drinking a lot of that juice from Telegon. Good
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
But no. But just in case. But that.
Yeah, that goes.
Oh yeah.
But we will be back on the schedule. Once again, any last comments from anybody or?
The deduction thing was cool. I like
Well,
it.
Oh yeah.
Good mechanic.
Yeah, that was tons of fun.
Yeah,
Just-
I thought
yeah.
I thought it
To
would
be
be a
true,
good
it's
place
like-
to get people some get their hands in things.
Hmm.
Was there
Um,
any possibility that we would do something that was in conflict with like existing ideas that you had about?
Oh, there was always that possibility.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you would have just rolled with it.
Yeah. Whatever
Yeah.
comes out as true in the deduction is true.
I like it.
So I had a couple of different ideas prepared just in case.
Ah.
but no, it all works out, and that's what the game's about. Cool.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
thank you everybody. Thanks all of my players once again. And I'm glad that it seemed like you had a good time. I hope everybody out there watching enjoyed it. Once again, if you like what we do, go to Patreon, give us money. We'll do more of it. Buy things from Cyan, because if you buy more things, they'll do more of that. Thank you very much. And Shara.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.